Banks inundated with requests for help as the government shutdown continues.
Many pantries rely on USDA funding, which is drying up. Margaret Dickinson has managed the food pantry at Calvary Episcopal Church in Louisville, Kentucky for 43 years. She says this week was the first time they've run out of food with the need so great.
It's just ballooning like crazy.
Lynette Lau is president of the Association of Community Ministries in Louisville.
We feel like this is the tip of the iceberg.
Because SNAP benefits will be cut starting November 1st, potentially leaving millions more people in need of food. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
President Trump's war on drug traffickers is ramping up.
In recent weeks, the U.S. military has blown up 10 alleged drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean and the Pacific. White House advisor Stephen Miller says President Trump will continue to treat drug smugglers and their sponsors as foreign terrorist organizations.
These designated FTOs are the ISIS of the Western Hemisphere, and as the president made clear yesterday, they will be dealt with just as we dealt with ISIS.
Miller spoke as the U.S. military is sending an aircraft carrier to the waters off South America, and as the Trump administration has imposed sanctions against Colombia's president and his family. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
New York Attorney General Letitia James was defiant after pleading not guilty to charges of mortgage fraud in federal court today.
I've heard from just about every jurisdiction in this nation who have said stand up and be tall and never ever cow down or back down or break or bend.
The trial is scheduled for January. The Premier of Ontario, Canada, said he's pulling a television ad that called tariffs harmful. The ad angered President Trump so much he announced he was ending trade talks with Canada. Game 1 of the World Series begins just after 8 p.m. Eastern Time in Toronto.
Los Angeles Dodgers starting pitcher Blake Snell knows he's facing a tough Toronto team.
They got a lot of confidence right now. They're doing a good job of each at bat, like fueling off of each other.
Blue Jays starter Trey Savage steamed through 4 minor league teams on his way to the majors. Pitched well in the playoffs. He got the word from his manager, John Schneider.
Said they have faith in me to run me out there in the first game, and I was fired up.
At age 22, he's the second youngest Game 1 starting pitcher. The Dodgers, of course, are defending champions. The Blue Jays won the first of 2 titles 33 years ago tonight. Peter King, CBS News.
What a day it was on Wall Street. The 3 major stock indices closed at record highs today. The Dow up 1%, NASDAQ up more than 1%. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
More fallout from a crash involving a sheriff's major. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Aaron, D.R. Horton has the update plan on an additional 10 to 15 minutes easy on your trips this afternoon, no matter where you're going. Heavy rain has turned this into a real challenging commute. Let's start up north, head south. North 5 through Everett slows from the Boeing Freeway all the way to the Tulalip Resort Casino, Everett to Marysville, 20 to 25 minutes. Getting there from Seattle and Bellevue, both are 1-hour commutes. Linwood to Seattle will take you an hour and 10 minutes. All of this slowing is between Northgate and 990, and you're just not even moving through a good chunk of this. North 5 is jam-packed from Mid-Boeing Field into downtown. South Center to Seattle, 35 minutes. South Center to Bellevue, also a 35-minute drive. You're bumper to bumper from South Center up to State Route 900. Seattle to Federal Way, 45 minutes. It's solid from 405 to 516. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways, a 55-minute drive. And Tacoma to Olympia has improved to 1 hour. The D.R. Horton National Red Tag Sales Event has been extended through the 26th. Visit a D.R. Horton community today or drhorton.com. America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. A Pierce County Sheriff's Major announced his retirement today, but his legal troubles are far from over. Chad Dickerson is still scheduled to appear in court next month on 2 counts of vehicular assault. This stems from an alleged DUI crash that injured a family of 6 back in July. The sheriff's office is also investigating deputies' conduct at the scene, including why some turned off their body cameras.
At a press conference Thursday, Sheriff Keith Swank said every deputy at that July crash scene involving his major, Chad Dickerson, where a family was injured, is under review because
should have had their camera on.
However, court documents show some deputies did not record with their body cameras, something Pierce County policy allows. Other agencies I asked, like Seattle Police, require cameras on immediately until Lieutenant Kirk Waldorf says,
once we leave the scene, we have no substantial investigative
issues, then we can turn them off as we leave.
Sheriff Swank says he's trying to change his office's policy. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Alaska Airlines still trying to recover after that ground stop last night. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin reports from SeaTac Airport.
Airline officials saying an IT outage is to blame. This family coming from Beijing shocked at how the issues are being handled.
We spent more time waiting in line to try to figure out our canceled flight than it took to fly from China to Seattle.
Alaska Airlines officials say they're working on finding solutions for everybody, but meanwhile, they're asking people to be patient.
Big mess at Seattle's Emerson Elementary caused by a broken water fountain. It flooded both floors and forced the school to close. Parents got the alert yesterday. Classes are canceled through Monday. Cal Raleigh is named the MLB Player of the Year by Sporting News. The award is voted on by more than 300 fellow players. Mariners president of baseball operations, Jerry Dipoto.
It was a phenomenal season. If it wasn't the best season a catcher's ever had, it's certainly one of the best two.
Raleigh becomes just the second catcher to win the award since it was first presented in 1936. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Just going to see rain off and on all day and into the weekend. Heavy at times. Also some snow in the mountains. There is a winter weather advisory in effect tomorrow night until Sunday night. Right now, 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show listener introduction line.
Okay.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you enjoy the show.
Somebody normal. Thank you. Someone normal. Come on, normal.
It sounds good, but oftentimes there's other things attached to it that speaks to like a larger issue.
Hey,
I'll get it, but
apparently it's a criticism of the show somehow that it sounds. What does it sound? Sounds
good, but
okay. But there's a larger issue attached to it.
Oftentimes.
Oftentimes. That's you, Joe. You're the larger issue attached to it. Hey, everybody. Out there in the, let me find some paper that I don't need. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's there from Burma Shave. This is for you. YouTubers can talk to each other yet?
There was a rumor that it was active at some point yesterday, not during our show, but during another show.
Oh, they're testing it.
So, yeah, I'm trying to get to the bottom of that.
Okay, fine. Oh, wow. You're getting to the bottom. Oh, you got to dive in there you go. Oh, my God. Teeny's on the ground.
Oh, no.
Teeny.
Come on, John.
Come on, Teeny. Yeah,
oh, God,
I can't do it.
This is a disaster.
I don't get back up in your place.
I don't believe
The mayor's
this.
coming in. The mayor's coming in. We've never had the mayor.
Excellent.
The mayor's here. Teeny might have a few questions for him, too. Oh, there you go, Teeny. She's got a few questions for the mayor. Okay. I think he's also going on with Jason Rantz on Monday. Making the rounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel now.
Good lead-in for me. Speaking of barrels, but first, I believe this is all the news. This is it. You know, I got to get caught up on the news. That's all you need. Wow. 2 pages, and you got it all in the last 24 hours. My new thing now I'm going to do. Until I don't do it anymore.
Sure.
I was thinking, there are still about 13,000 pages, files, total number of pages, files left over from the JFK files that haven't been released. They let 77,000 pages go. And then there is about 190 some pages that somebody found going back to 1961 that is like, what? Didn't get much attention. Until now.
Oh, my.
I'll give that in a second. But first, the other stuff in the news, stays in the news. Let's see. Richard Burton marries Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, her home is in Puerto Vallarta, and Richard Burton's home was on one side of the street, Elizabeth Taylor's on the other. So they so much loved each other that they paid the Mexican mafia to make sure that they could build a bridge over the street so that Richard Burton could go on over and, a little bit of, booty call.
Didn't want to move in together?
I think they wanted their separate rooms or separate homes.
And now you know.
That's not the story. I just threw that in there. I got stuff. I got ideas. Richard Nixon vetoes the War Powers Resolution. Okay, but the bigger news is this lady right here for you people watching. There you go. We're just going to make everybody watch radio. So we're just going to slowly stop illuminating words and just start showing pictures.
I like it.
We've asked the AI computer to generate a reenactment of what this woman did on this very day with her cat. Here's a deep tease for you.
Oh, my.
And then Joe has in down here Mayor Palooza. I thought it was Bruce Harrell's coming in. Who's Mayor Palooza? And then, parents say to the kid, what do they want to do, the dishes?
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, hey, modern name for kid. Brandon? They still named Brandon? Those are for a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, Cole.
There you go.
Cole, you need to do the dishes. Oh, yeah, I'll show you. Don't cross that kid.
Kids these days.
Yes, and they're AR-15s. I wonder if he hit any of the dirty dishes when he did what he did. Okay, then Mayor Bruce Harrell comes in at 4 o'clock. Got that. The real story behind the Obamacare premiums and Medicare. I'm trying to explain all that in a really simple way for everybody. Not that you need it to be explained in a simple way, but it's the only way I can explain it.
Help me understand.
There you go, Joe. You play the common man. Plus, also, apparently it's hard to pass the U.S. citizenship test, but it's even harder if you're in Switzerland. You better know
that's a tease.
Your hard and soft cheeses. Steve Bannon talking out of his, I assume, very hairy rear end.
Ooh, yeah.
There's no way President Trump is going to be the president in 2028. Right? Was that the 22nd Amendment? The 22nd?
Oh, come on.
Pick that one up.
It's on the test.
No way. Anyway, the other stuff in there, the big, beautiful ballroom, we'll take care of that. And then, the sports scandal that continues to go on. So there's lots of good stuff in there. All right, that's later on. Okay, most people won't even be around at that point. Oof, boy, that's bad. That was that beef sandwich there.
Get it out now, please.
Okay. I was thinking. So JFK files were released, 77,000, I think, pages, and they're still holding back a number of them. And most people are looking for JFK assassination stuff. But in there was this thing called Northwoods. And people that were not looking for the JFK stuff, I thought, well, what Northwoods is about. So they start reading about it. I think they're all together. There might have been 600 pages that were included in there. And it's quite interesting what the United States planned on doing with something as simple and as wonderful sounding as Northwoods. To put it in perspective for you, the U.S. was very concerned because Castro had come into Cuba. In fact, they were so concerned they tried to kill him 334 times. Possible assassination attempts, exploding cigars, poison on the lips of a prostitute that he was supposed to dance with, a whole variety of different ways. They were never able to get him killed. They decided at one point they were going to send the mafia in there with poison pills that they would slip into his drink because the mafia was really upset because Castro, when he took over the little country of Cuba, he kicked out all the mob with all of their casinos. So they had a real axe to grind. So they were going to go in there and poison him with pills, but for some reason that idea fell apart as well. But it still didn't stop the United States. It was deeply concerned that once Castro gets in there, look out, here come the Russians, because he had curried favor with the Russians. And then they were supporting him. And now you would have communism that was 90 miles away from the United States. So what can we do? What can we do to get Castro either killed or engage with the United States in a war? Well, in order to do that, we're going to need to make sure that the rest of the world sees that we were attacked first and we were only defending ourselves. Some dramatic music here, Andrew, to give the sense of ominousness. So the Joint Chiefs of Staff came up with this thing called Northwoods. How do we get Castro and Cuba to make them seem like the aggressor in the United States, that we can go in there and declare war and kill him and take the country back over? Because the U.S., a lot of business was in Cuba prior to Castro coming in. And the interests of the United States, i.e. big business, was to get that little island back. So how about Northwoods? Here's the plan that they presented to JFK. A whole bunch of, I think they were all together maybe 19 different things, but I'll just give you some of them. A lot of them involve paint. A lot of paint. Because what they're going to do is, first of all, they were going to paint an American plane to make it look like a Russian jet. And then they were going to get Russian bombs, and they were going to fly it over Nicaragua. And they were going to blow up and set on fire the sugarcane there. Possibly. They were going to paint, again, another plane to look like a Russian plane, and they were going to hijack a U.S. civilian plane. Or shoot it down. They were going to shoot down a U.S. aircraft. They were going to get another U.S. plane, make it look like a MiG, and then have that thing fly over and then get shot down. Or no, they get a U.S. plane to be shot down over Cuba, and then they were going to blame Cuba for that one. It was very ominous. Turn down a little bit.
These are ominous suggestions.
Yeah, a lot of them. They were going to have a U.S. ship, military ship, get blown up somewhere near Cuba, near the harbor there. And that would be like, remember the Maine. A lot of people think that the U.S. blew up the Maine in order to get ourselves into the war with Spain. But we don't do that kind of stuff. Just when it comes to Cuba, we're going to take a U.S. ship, we're going to blow it up, and then we're going to blame Castro and go in there and obliterate Cuba and get Cuba back. Here's the craziest part of Northwoods. Let's plant bombs around the United States, mostly on the East Coast, some in New York, some in Miami, in that area, in civilian places. And what we'll do is we'll wound some Americans, hopefully not kill, with these bombs, and then we'll blame Castro for setting bombs off in the United States. It's like you read this stuff and you're like, wow, they had big, big plans. What they intended to do to try to get Castro to make the Castro look like the aggressor and the United States look like the victim of bombs or planes, hijackings, ships exploded, anything they could possibly do. So they take the plan to JFK, and he says, take the music out for 1 second. He's JFK's thinking, oh, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. The Joint Chiefs of Staff at this point is pretty upset because they know that they feel by any means necessary and the ends justify the means, and it would be perfectly okay for a few Americans to die in order for us to save the world from communism. And at that point, after JFK said, no, I don't think so, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, there was then this friction and conflict between JFK and the rest of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I came upon this story yesterday, and I was reading about a couple of the people that were in the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and then I was reading about how they all retired and how they were all honored, and there's all sorts of plaques about them. And I'm thinking to myself, really? Here are these, I think it was like 5 or 7 altogether, that were planning on having Americans die so that we could attack Cuba, Castro. And then when they retire from the military, they get great honors. and there's plaques in their hometowns. I go, man, there's something wrong. Now, of course, we would never have any sort of false flags again. They would never do anything like that again in order for American quote unquote interests to prevail, right? There's no way that we would just sort of make stuff up in order to invade another country. That was back in the 60s. We were doing kooky things. We had bell bottoms, and men were growing out their hair long and dancing and singing to the Beatles.
It was the bicentennial.
That was later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To me, it's a lot of painting things, a lot of deception, and then total and absolute disregard for the U.S. Constitution. And that's just some of the files that were released from the JFK files. That people are like, well, we weren't looking for the other stuff. So then when you start to think, oh, there's no way the U.S. would ever assassinate their own president. There you go. Hit me with a gong, please. That is so disturbing. Did you find that to be just like something from a movie? And the ideas were so bad, so dumb. And they're like, yeah, how about this one? So we'll paint the plane, it'll fly over, and then we'll land it, and then we'll get a drone that looks just like it to go up. And that'll be painted the same way. And then we'll repaint the one plane that was on the ground. But then the drone will get blown up, and then we'll get the parts of the thing that land in the water, and we'll exchange those for real planes. I mean, it's like some guy came up with that one, and that one was like 100 pages long. He was really into that one because they all came up with different ideas.
It's one of those no bad ideas meetings.
No, that's
all
not
right.
bad.
Come on, guys.
Okay, all right, stick with me now. I'm going to share my screen as we show how we blow up the plane.
Was there ever a legitimately, like, proven to be true false flag operation that?
Let's see. Weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, we have, see this? These are these trucks that are moving around these weapons, and we've got reason to believe they've got, yellow powder, and we think, we're going in. We got to get in there because if we don't, Saddam Hussein's going to, I don't know.
Well, and there's a lot of people that are not,
that think the
9/11 was a false flag.
All right, then you really get into the cuckoo town stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that.
No cuckoo town around here.
No, we don't go. No. We drive past cuckoo town.
That's right.
We don't set up and live in cuckoo town.
No.
We just go, hey, everybody, look, there's Cuckoo Town. We drive on by. Here comes Nate telling how to drive as well. Right there, checking roads. Nathan.
Thanks, John. KIRO Radio Rundown has this. It's a busy drive out there. We'll start in Everett. North 5 solid from the Boeing Freeway up to 529. This becomes a bumper-to-bumper backup after the Snohomish River. Everett to Marysville is going to take you 25 minutes. Bellevue to Everett, 55. It's scattered between South Bellevue into Alderwood. Seattle to Everett up to an hour, 5 minutes. It is solid from the U District all the way through north of Linwood. Now coming the other way, Linwood to Seattle, we've improved. We're down to 50 minutes. It is packed from Northgate past the West Seattle Bridge. Southbound 99 is bumper to bumper from the zoo down to the stadiums. North 5 jam-packed from Mid-Boeing Field in the downtown South Center to Seattle will take you a half hour. And if you're going east of the mountains this afternoon out toward Clay Elum, that Bullfrog Road overpass construction / demolition continues to block the westbound lanes of I-90. So you've got a 4-mile backup heading west. Eastbound 90, you're down to a single lane at the overpass, and there's a 15-mile backup that starts near Lake Ketchless. North Bend to Ellensburg right now is about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Text newsletter to 888-973-5476 and subscribe to the daily KIRO News Radio Rundown. Get the latest news and updates from your favorite KIRO News Radio shows straight to your inbox. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
There is peace at the barn in Clay Elum now because I finally acquiesced and I told Nick, okay, if you want to have closets put into the master bedroom and in the other bedroom and you want to organize the garage, go ahead. And I knew what she would do. She'd go on Google and the first thing would pop up, she'd go, we're going to hire those people. And I said, whoa. I would like you to find a local company. And if they're family run, even better. They've been around in business for a while. There we go. Get those guys. So she's digging. She says, I found one, Closets by Design. I said, okay, what about them? She goes, they're going to come in and completely customized. The person's going to make an appointment with us. They'll come to the house. They'll look where the problem is. And then they completely customize. They don't come in with a box of parts and just sort of jerry rig. I said, okay, perfect. Call them. I'm like, oh my God, what is this going to cost? Well, The designer comes in, completely redesigns the master bedroom, the other bedroom, and they make the garage look like something you'd see in a super duper fancy reality show or something. And the savings is huge. 40% off plus 15% off and 18 months financing. Do what we did there at the barn. 1-800-BY-DESIGN. That's 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football.
Number 54, Bobby Wagner, linebacker, one of the finest of his generation. He set just about every tackling record that can be set. He was the heart and soul of one of the best defenses to ever play in the National Football League.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300, 206-656-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
If your commercial building is over 20,000 square feet, Washington's Clean Buildings Law not only probably applies to you, but goes into effect as soon as July of 2026. Puget Sound Energy's free Clean Buildings Accelerator is here to help. You'll get step-by-step guidance, easy energy tracking tools, ready-to-use plan templates, and a year of ongoing support. It's a simple way to save energy and lower costs. Sign up at psc.com/clean buildings.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Frustrated flyers are still feeling the impact of that IT outage at Alaska Airlines.
It's a little irritating, We'll have to see what happens.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports this was the second nationwide shutdown in just a few months.
Alaska blames an issue at a data center, not a cyber attack. Thousands of passengers like Trisha Quigley were stuck for hours. She called KIRO 7 TV from onboard her flight to Seattle from Puerto Vallarta.
We were supposed to leave originally around 4:45, so we've been sitting here for quite a while.
This is the second IT outage for the airline since July. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Washington Trucking Association says it is redoubling its safety training after that oversized load hit the Bullfrog Road overpass on I-90 near Cle-Elum. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch reports.
When the Bullfrog Road overpass was hit Monday by an oversized load, it became the third such incident in 90 days. The WTA says it works with the Washington State Patrol on training and enforcement and will look to develop even more resources to ensure drivers are prepared to operate safely. Sherry Call is WTA president.
We're gathering best practices to ensure drivers are aware of the height, and if there's anything we can do to enhance that, we're absolutely ready to do so.
Currently, trucking companies are responsible for infrastructure damaged by its drivers. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Newly formed state agency that investigates police use of deadly force is looking to expand. Roger Rogoff oversees the Office of Independent Investigations. He tells TVW.
Let's make it work. Let's finish the job. We've proven we can do it and do it well. Let's get us the resources we need so we can do it everywhere.
Rogoff says he will be pushing the legislature for 5 new investigators, even though his agency's budget has already been cut by about 20%. Expect wet, windy weather through Monday. Meteorologist Ted Beener says we could see some powerful wind gusts, especially along the coast.
All of that is going to start to pull down a lot of the leaves that are ready to come down. And there's the possibility of a few isolated power outages.
We also have some high elevation snow this weekend. Some mountain passes are off limits for the season. WashDOT closed both the Chinook and Cayuse passes near Mount Rainier this morning. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 3:32 with Nate Connors.
All right, let's see. Bellevue to Everett, 55 minutes with scattered backups from South Bellevue into Alderwood. Seattle to Everett is up to an hour 5. We're solid from the U District up into North Linwood. Coming the other way, Linwood to Seattle, give yourself 50 minutes. It's packed from Northgate all the way past the West Seattle Bridge. North 5 is heavy from Mid-Boeing Field in the downtown. South Center to Seattle, about a half hour. Bellevue to South Center is a 35-minute drive. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway pushing an hour. And we've got a new collision on North 5 through Lakewood at Gravely Lake Drive. It's blocking your right lane and partially blocks the off-ramp. You'll need to go around the crash scene to access that off-ramp. You're backed up to the JBLM main gate. This report brought to you by the Tacoma Holiday Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates, is going on right now through the 26th at the Tacoma Dome. Buy tickets at holidaygiftshows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We had some wind gusts today, topping around 35 miles per hour, rain and breezy conditions tapering this evening, mostly quiet overnight. And then off and on downpours through the weekends. Right now, 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Home Comfort Alliance when it comes to heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric needs. It's Home Comfort Alliance. Thank you. So I'll say a quiet prayer for Rye, who's going to do play-by-play in color for, I've got teams taking on Kashmir. It might be the Brewster Bears. Kashmir football has beaten every single team by at least, I think, 75 points. Ooh. The last game, I think, was like 96-0 or 96. It's going to be a long night.
He's got to keep the vibes up.
Practice as another touchdown for Kashmir. Ooh. All right, this day in history, there's a lot of it. We've been hard at it. Hi, everybody. Hope you enjoy. Let's get this thing sponsored.
Yeah.
Come on now, sales team.
What are we doing
Day in history.
here?
What are we going to do out here? What do you think we're out here for our health? We're going to pay Aaron's bills. Day in history, 1648. The 30-year war ends. Guess how long it lasted?
Ooh.
Never mind. 1851, Western Union completes the first transcontinental telegraph line. Henry David Thoreau, while he was writing in his little cabin there, you read about it in Walden Pond, he said, the people of Maine have no need for the news from Texas. If a train has derailed and lives have been lost, it will not affect the people of Maine in one way. Why do we need to know? He didn't like the transcontinental lines coming from England over the U.S., and he didn't like the fact that all news can be shared from all over the place. It doesn't mean anything for anybody. It may be sad for the people that have lost their lives there, but why does anybody else need to know about anything?
Wait till he hears about social media.
Yes. In 1901, the first barrel ride over the Niagara Falls. 1921, unknown soldier is selected. 1945, the United Nations is born.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Goodbye. Richard Burton buys Elizabeth Taylor's 69-carat diamond. He buys a diamond for her. And then Nixon vetoes the War Powers Resolution. Let's go with the fun times back in 1901. So there's a woman by the name of Anne Edson Taylor. She was born in 1938. This gal was tough.
1938?
She's born in 1938.
But this was in 1901.
Hold on, Joe. I'm getting building it up here.
Okay.
She's got a whole life ahead of her before she does what she does. Her first child dies in childbirth. Her husband dies fighting in the Civil War. There's a house fire in Tennessee that she barely escapes. Then she's in an earthquake in South Carolina. Wherever this lady goes, there's trouble. Oof. She then goes to Texas, and she is the victim of a stagecoach robbery. The guy points a gun right at her head, and old Annie Edson Taylor's like, no way, I'm not giving you anything. I got $800. $800? I got $800 stuffed in my dress, but you're not getting it. I was like, okay. She survives all of that. She tries, and she hits 60 years old. Things aren't going so well for her. She tries to become a dance instructor and run a charm school, though both those things fail. And then in 1901, get into it, Joe, the Pan American Expo is going to be happening. It's held near Niagara Falls. So she gets this idea to get some cash that because this is the time of Houdini and Barnum and Bailey and stuff, that she is going to be the first person ever to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. It's a 160-foot drop. And she says, I'm going to do it, and they're going to pay me a lot of money. I'm going to make a lot of money, and I'm willing to do it. And so she does. She gets a custom barrel containing a leather harness and a mattress. She gets her assistant to put her in there, even though the guy says it's probably suicide. But beforehand, by the way, we have AI to generate a reenactment for you kids that are watching on YouTube. So there she is. Oh, by the way, that's wrong, Joe. She didn't go over with her cat. The first time, she put her cat in the barrel and sent the cat over, and the cat survived.
A test run.
Yes.
Let's see.
The AI generated as we're going over, just sitting in the barrel.
Oh, here we
go. That's not right.
Hold on, little one.
Okay.
Come this far. Here we go. We're alive. We're alive.
Thank you, AI. No, the cat went over first. Then they're like, okay, the cat survived. And then she gets in. They nail her they nail the top on there. They throw her over. She survives the drop. And she said that she would rather, it said something about, I would rather soon walk up to the mouth of a cannon, knowing it's going to blow me to bits than make another trip over the falls.
Sheesh.
She makes it over, she survives, and she makes a pretty good deal of money going around giving speeches, but her manager steals her barrel from her, which is what everybody wanted to see. So she'd go to give a speech like, where's the barrel, Miss whatever your name is, Taylor? Like, I don't have my barrel. I don't know where my barrel is. So she spends all the money that she makes hiring a private detective. Second video, please. Searching for the barrel. She can't find the barrel anywhere. She goes out and...
Pippin, we'll find it. We have to. Keep close to me. There. I think I see the lantern. Just a little farther. Hold on, little one.
Stop. She wasn't walking with her cat in the snow. She couldn't find the barrel anywhere. And she dies penniless.
Oh.
But wait, there's more. I like this story. If I could find where I wrote it down. I don't know where I wrote it down on. Something or other. I think the guy's name is Leach. He goes over in the barrel as well. He survives. And I think it was 15 years later or something. So he survives going over in the barrel. And he becomes somewhat famous from it. He goes around and talks about it and stuff. And then while he is in, so 15 years later, he is then in Auckland, New Zealand, again, talking about going over in a barrel and things. He slips on an orange peel, breaks his leg quite badly, and then when they go into surgery to cut his leg off, he ends up dying. So he survives going over in the barrel, and then he dies from surgery there in Auckland, New Zealand.
Slipping on a banana peel?
No, an orange peel.
Oh, an orange peel. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's less cliche.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I like about that. His name is Bobby Leach. He went over in 1906. He was 54 years old. He survives, gets cut in the head. He gets his knees are injured. And then he asks for oxygen. They give him oxygen. They put the oxygen away, and then he lights a cigar. The good old days right there. There you go.
I read also, I forget her name, but the first woman to go over,
yes,
she was so broke after the fame kind of dissipated that she would just printed up pictures of herself and would go try to pawn those off to people that were touring Niagara Falls.
Oh,
but
how sad.
She could get maybe, I don't know what they called it, but half a penny. What is that, 2 bits or something?
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah. Lady.
Again, the videos, because we spent a lot of time. Actually, I spent money to pay for this company to be able to make these for us. So.
Which one you want? Her going over?
I think, let's give both. Let's give them a double feature.
You want sound on this?
Sure, here we go.
Let's go.
For you. This is for the people watching videos.
Hold on, little one.
There she goes.
We've come this far. Here we go. We're alive. We're alive.
There you are. That's a reenactment. Yeah. She wasn't with the cat, and the thing was nailed shut. And then she had to look around for it. Was the other one. All right.
There she goes.
There she is. Okay.
Find it. We have to.
She looks
Keep
different.
close to me.
Sounds like Sherry.
I think I see the lantern.
She does.
Just a little farther.
Okay, good.
What lantern?
Whatever, Joe. Here's Nate checking traffic. Nathan.
Alrighty, this report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Bellevue to Everett and Seattle to Everett are both 1 hour commutes. 405 scattered backups from Kirkland into Alderwood. And I-5 is solid from the U District all the way through North Linwood. Linwood to Seattle is a 50-minute drive. The only backup is a big one. It's from Northgate to the West Seattle Bridge. North 5 jam-packed from the north end of Boeing Field now in the downtown. South Center to Seattle, a half-hour drive. Bellevue to South Center, plan on 35 minutes. It's solid at 520 all the way to the Renton Landing. There's another backup down in South Center. Seattle to Federal Way, 40 minutes. Got a collision in Parkland, eastbound 512 at Steele Street, blocking your right lane. And in Lakewood, we just cleared that crash, North 5 at Gravely Lake Drive. You're backed up to the main gate, though. Olympia to Tacoma is a 55-minute commute. The Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest, the best place to watch all your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. KIRO Newsradio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I've told the story before, but it was in 2009 when he went to Longevity Medical Clinic because I wasn't feeling so well, wasn't sleeping so well, wasn't dealing with stress really well. I had completed an Ironman, and then I thought I was in the best shape of my life. So I go in, I do a blood draw, and I go back in a week or 2 weeks later, and they're like, whoa, you got some serious problems. So wait, guys, I did an Ironman. I swam 2.5 miles, I ran and biked 112. I did, man. They go, no, that's good for you, but you've got some indicators of some serious problems. Now, I had no idea. I mean, I've inherited a lot of good stuff from my dad, like my hair, stuff like that, but I had some serious heart problems that could have developed. But because I went to Longevity Medical Clinic and they saw early indication of some problems with heart disease, I was able to get on the program and bring those numbers down, bring numbers back up again, take care of the hormones, testosterone and estrogen, all of them. And I've been a patient ever since. I work with them every 4 months in the blood draw, and they make sure that I've got a longer life because they're proactive. It's quite complicated. They're using the latest science. All you have to know is you feel great. Take the free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual-eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits, like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The insurance world, it can be confusing, so have First Mark Insurance guide you through it by taking the free First Mark Challenge. They'll explore offerings from top carriers for better coverage and lower rates. They save the Heward family thousands. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Oh, Joe, all right. Okay, good. We got sound on this. So does the thing set the story up, or do I need to do some work? Oh, we'll let KSAT do most of the work. There's a Texas family pleading for justice after their 16-year-old son did this.
They didn't come over here to send no message. They came over here to kill my husband.
A threat gone too far.
It started with my son. We ended up getting his report card. He was missing 4 credits. We asked him, to do the dishes, and he started slamming stuff. And from there, that was the first time he had made a threat towards my husband, saying that he was going to put a bullet in his forehead.
That was the first threat Erica says her 16-year-old son made to his stepfather, Jesus, back in June. The second came on August 24th. She says her son posted a photo of a loaded magazine on social media.
On the top of the bullet was my husband's name.
Hours later, at 3 a.m., the gunfire began. Erica and Jesus were home with 3 of their children. No one was injured.
It needs to stop. The gun violence needs to stop.
An affidavit alleges their son and 3 others were involved in the planning of the shooting. In this video from the doorbell camera, we can only see 3 people firing weapons. But of the 4, only one of them is over the age of 18. Now, we've learned his name is Benny Garcia, and he's facing a 3rd-degree felony charge of deadly conduct, discharging of a firearm. BCSO says it cannot release information to us for people under the age of 18. That's part of the reason why this family is coming forward.
Oh, my God. The kid's got some credits missing. Please do the dishes. I'm going to kill you. And then he gets his buddies, and they all fire a bunch of rounds at the house?
Yeah, they pull up like it's a drive-by shooting, although they do get out of the car, and they made sure that they hit their intended house.
So the one name is the name of the kid, right?
That's no, that's not. Their kid is only 16, so they won't even tell the parents whether he's in custody or not.
Oh, my Lord.
They don't even know if they've got him.
Wow, I wonder what credits he was missing.
Probably.
How do you ever repair that? Boy, that's going to be an awkward Thanksgiving for everybody.
Extremely. These kids these days.
You're grounded.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, well, they always say that, the 2 parts of the brain for young kids not fully developed because they take chances. They don't understand repercussions. They live in the moment, and then this is the type of behavior that you get. They say that the brain of especially a young male, not fully developed to be able to understand actions and consequences till I think they said the age of 25, which then brings up a bunch of stories about, can you try them as an adult? Is it, you get into the biology of does the person even know what they're doing and truly understand the impact of their actions?
I mean, he posted on social media bullets. I mean, that is the worst OPSEC ever. He's not a very bright kid.
He's obviously, because he's been missing 4 credits. All he needs to do is just do better in school, and then he'll understand, I should probably not post video of myself shooting my parents' home.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Fun story there, Joe.
You'd love that one.
Anybody write in about any questions for Bruce Harrell, the mayor?
Yes, I've got one from Hee Haw Aaron. He says, I have a question for the mayor.
Is this going to evolve? Is this going to be a fart joke?
No. He says, if the police can't do anything about holes being cut into the fence at Denny Blaine Park, would he look into it? Happy Friday.
There you go. No rim shot for Hee Haw? Would he look into it? There we go. Oh. There you go. Fine. He'll have an answer for that one. All right, let's go to Nate in the traffic. Nathan.
Thanks, John. The Emerald Queen Casino's got the update. Steady rain, heavy at times, making for a tough Friday afternoon commute. Everett to Marysville, you're at 25 minutes. It's solid from the Boeing Freeway to 529. Gets really thick there at Highway 2. Bellevue to Everett and Seattle to Everett, both 1-hour drives. 405, you're solid now from Mid-Bellevue through Canyon Park. And I-5 solid from Lake City Way through north of Linwood. Coming the other way, Linwood to Seattle, we're back up to a 1-hour drive. It's packed from Northgate past the West Seattle Bridge. North 5 is bumper to bumper from the north end of Boeing Field into downtown. In Parkland, we just cleared that collision eastbound 512 at Steele. It's sitting on your right shoulder. No longer any blocking issues there. The Emerald Queen Casino is the entertainment capital of the Northwest, the best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I did something today that I haven't done in, I think, probably 7 years. I put on my running shoes. And I ran. Only a mile, but the fact that I put my running shoes on again and I ran a mile made me feel alive again. And I can tell you right now, this would not have happened if I hadn't seen Dr. Mark Wagner. Well, I went there probably just about 2 weeks ago, and I got a stem cell procedure. And I have to tell you, I was told prior that I would probably have to get, or I should get, my hip replaced. And that's a very involved surgery. And I kept hearing about stem cell procedures. I knew about Dr. Mark Wagner because for 30 years, he's been in this business. He's performed more than 20,000 of these procedures. So I thought, what do I have to lose? So I go to see the good doctor. And what he gives me, first of all, is hope. He says, I looked at your MRI, I looked at your x-rays. This could work for your hip. I've done a whole bunch of these. Your hip's not as bad, although it's interesting they told you to get surgery. Let's try this. So I go in, I get the procedure. It's been almost 2.5 weeks, and I went for a run today. Thank you, Dr. Mark Wagner. Thank you. Hip, shoulder, elbow, knee, wrist, whatever it is. Before surgery, Dr. Mark Wagner. drmarkwagnermd.com. drmarkwagnermd.com.
The voice of the Mariners for 40 years.
There it is, number 60, the modern-day Bambino.
The Rick Riz Show on Seattle's Morning News.
Rick. We have finally reached the end of the baseball season.
Oh, Amanda.
Have you recovered yet?
Oh, what a year. You know, it was the best year on the field in the history of the franchise. One that I'll never forget, and I don't think the fans will forget either.
Get the full conversation on the KIRO Newsradio app and at mynorthwest.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
G and Ursula on KIRO News Radio.
You're not going to be able to stop what's going to happen.
I hope he's successful.
9 to noon, streaming live on your smart speaker.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
There is one real estate agent who's been helping KIRO listeners longer than anyone else, and that's Wes Jones with sellwithwes.com. Wes, you've helped KIRO listeners in good markets and more difficult ones. What do you think has been the secret to your success?
Experience has taught us that to outperform the market, we needed to do things differently from the status quo, that we needed to do more. Our exclusive system covers innovative marketing locally and internationally, leading to more eyeballs on your home, better listing prep for better showings, negotiation strategies that eliminate pesky buyer contingencies, and generate stronger offers. Through our exclusive client programs, our sellers enjoy an extraordinary marketing experience utilizing techniques a traditional agent cannot offer.
So if you want to sell your home faster, at a higher price, and with fewer contingencies, if you want more, visit sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com, a better way to sell your home.
Download the KIRO News Radio app, where you can watch us live or stream us live anywhere, anytime.
How would this initiative, whatever this initiative is, how would he fund it?
Stay connected everywhere. Download the KIRO News Radio app.
Carter Subaru, Seattle's only Subaru dealership, has the largest selection of Subarus in our state. For a limited time, you can get the 2025 Subaru Outback for 0.9% financing for 60 months. With over 100 Outback Max to choose from, you're going to find the exact color and trim you've been looking for. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard or anytime at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 10/31/25. You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay because whatever it is, it's on eBay and it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
U.S. fleet buildup near South America.
There are 8-9 warships, including an attack submarine.
Shut down food pantry demand.
It's worse than I have ever seen it.
New York Attorney General pleads not guilty to mortgage fraud.
Never, ever cow down or back down.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump's war against drug trafficking ramps up as 10 alleged drug smuggling boats have been blown up by the U.S. military in the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean in the past 2 months. White House advisor Stephen Miller.
Narco-terrorists and narco-trafficking is a terrorist activity. These organizations are the ISIS of the Western Hemisphere.
In a show of force, the U.S. is sending the aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford to the waters off South America. CBS's Charlie D'Agata.
Putting a carrier into that neighborhood, that area of responsibility, with against the stated mission, which is drug interdiction, is absolutely unheard of, aside from unprecedented. I can't remember the last time a carrier was in that region for any good reason other than transporting in or out of it.
The Trump administration imposes sanctions on Colombian President Gustavo Petro, his family, and a government member over drug trade allegations. On day 24 of the government shutdown, CBS's Erica Brown on Capitol Hill reports.
Today was supposed to be payday for many federal employees. Instead, some received a pay stub showing $0. That includes essential workers still on the job without pay, like TSA agents and air traffic controllers.
The Association of Community Ministries says food assistance demand in Jefferson County, Kentucky has been rising for months and supplies are stretched thin. Volunteer Margaret Dickinson.
In COVID, maybe it averaged 40 a day. Now it's 135 a day. It's just ballooning like crazy.
New York Attorney General Letitia James pleads not guilty to bank fraud in federal court and later says,
This is not about me. This is about all of us. And about a justice system which has been weaponized.
James' trial begins January 26th. Ontario's premier says he's pulling a TV ad featuring former President Reagan on tariffs that has caused President Trump to say he's ending trade talks with Canada. The Reagan Foundation says the ad misrepresented his words. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says his country is ready to resume trade talks.
We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that policy has fundamentally changed from the policy in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s.
The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 closed at record highs on encouraging inflation data. Now this.
The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com.
We have some slick roads tonight, making for a busy day at the traffic desk. We go right to Nate Connors.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. Global Credit Union's got the update. Yeah, in fact, standing water in some areas. Be sure to give yourself plenty of space between that car in front of you and make sure them headlights are on. Everett to Marysville, a 25-minute drive. It's solid from the Boeing Freeway into Marysville. Gets really thick there at Highway 2. Bellevue to Everett and Seattle to Everett, both 1-hour commutes. 405, you're solid from mid-Bellevue through Canyon Park. You'll catch a nice break, and then you'll join that North 5 back up in Linwood. North 5 solid from Lake City Way through Linwood. Linwood to Seattle is at 55 minutes. It is bumper to bumper from Northgate Way past the West Seattle Bridge. South 405 is packed from 520 to the VMAC. You'll catch a little breather, and then we're packed again in South Center. Bellevue to South Center is at 35 minutes. And northbound 405, jam-packed from South Center up past the Renton Landing. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. A Pierce County Sheriff's Major is now off the force. Chad Dickerson announced his retirement today as he faces 2 vehicular assault charges tied to an alleged DUI crash. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports the sheriff's office is also investigating how deputies handled that scene, including why some turned off their body cameras.
Every major agency I asked told me their officers or deputies are absolutely required to activate their body cameras. Lieutenant Kirk Waldorf with Seattle Police.
Anytime we're taking enforcement action or dealing with a crime or investigating a crime, they'll be on.
At a press conference Thursday, Sheriff Keith Swank said deputies at the July crash scene involving Major Chad Dickerson, where a family was injured, are under review because they either didn't activate their cameras or turn them off.
And I don't know if there's anything I can do about it.
He says he's working with the union to change policy language from should activate to shall activate. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Thousands of Alaska Airlines passengers are still facing canceled or delayed flights after the airline's ground stop last night. This woman at SeaTac Airport tells KIRO 7 TV she just wants more clarity from the airline.
One group tells you go do this, you go do it, and like us, doing what we did, well, we're lucky we got our luggage, but you get stuck.
An IT outage grounded Alaska's fleet for about 8 hours yesterday, the airline expecting more disruptions in the coming days. At least the big leaguers agree on who the best baseball player was this season. Cal Raleigh earned the Sporting News Player of the Year award, as we hear from KIRO 7 TV's Lindsay Sheldon.
This decision came from the players. The Sporting News collects votes from more than 300 MLB players in September and part of October. Aaron Judge came in second in voting. Shohei Ohtani was third.
And we'll find out next month if Raleigh wins that MVP award. Seattle Storm are making history with their new head coach. The team is reportedly hiring Sonia Rahman. She becomes the first Indian-American woman to head a WNBA team and replaces Noelle Quinn. She was let go after the Storm's playoff exit. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We have rainy and breezy weather. It'll taper off, though, tonight. Mainly quiet overnight. Next storm system ringing on and off. Downpours tomorrow and into Sunday. Right now, 53 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
John, think fun, not funny.
Thank you, Jim.
Think fun, not funny. Do you understand what I'm saying?
He's taking me back to the worst boss I ever had. Truly. The worst. Where's that guy now? Still employed? No.
What about Dever?
He's doing his own thing. There we go. All right, bring on some walk-on music for them, Joe. You got any walk-on music?
In your queue there.
Hang on. What a rough start to the show already. Hold on, Mr. Mayor.
You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be.
You ever see these guys in concert?
Several times.
What'd you think? Joe, adjust this microphone for he's the mayor, for crying out loud, Joe.
Why don't I have one of those black cushy things on mine, too?
Hey, we don't see color around here.
Okay, well, I see a black cushy thing.
Believe me. Boy, don't get that.
Okay, there you go. What do these things do, anyway?
That's supposed to stop you from lying.
Okay.
You want it still on?
Are we on air now, or are we just BSing?
No, you're on.
Okay.
I shouldn't have told you.
Get a cue or something?
No, you don't get a cue. You get your walk-on music. All right, so you want me to refer to you as Mr. Mayor?
Bruce is fine.
Okay, Bruce is fine. We had on your opponent yesterday, and you know I endorsed her.
Well, you'll have to answer for that for 600,000-700,000 people.
I told you why, because I listen, go all in on socialism, right? They tried it after World War II. And then Margaret Thatcher had to come in and say it's fine until you run out of other people's money. I just said, let's just try it, see what it works. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, well, then we'll never try it again. And we won't think we can continue to tax the rich, redistribute to the wealth, and then we're going to have this happy life. Right?
Are you ever going to run for political office in your lifetime?
Thanks a lot for reading my bio. I was a Sammamish City Councilman for 4 years, and then they wanted me to run for state senate, and Rob McKenna talked me into it, and then I'm like, no way, I'm not going to do it because I'd be away from my kids too much of a sacrifice.
So your permanent record now has you endorsing my opponent. So don't come to me for an endorsement. Don't ask me for an endorsement in the future.
I doubt Constantine endorsed me at one point. Thanks for joining us, Bruce Mayer. All right, let's do this. Do you feel like you got to wake up from a dream and be like, wait a minute, I'm behind in a poll to a woman who is 43 years old and has no experience?
Well, I have to take feedback from voters and the people I love in this city.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't think we're dreaming at all. We realize people are really hurting out there. They're struggling to pay their rent and for their food, and they see a president in office that seems to be violating everyone's due process rights. And people want to make sure they have a mayor in charge to make change. And so it's the reality of what we're dealing with in 2025, 2026. So we embrace it.
Right.
And that's why we have to talk about our record. I mean, if you want a disruptor, if you want a change maker, that's sort of been my life story. I've never been a status quo person. I'm not built that way. And so, but it is an interesting scenario when a person with very, very limited experience, and I'm a fine human being. I don't mean to denigrate her by any stretch of imagination in terms of her character, but this is a big job.
Yes.
It's a big job.
Yeah. I think there's 14,000 employees. The budget is always going up. What is it, 8.3 or 8.6 billion, somewhere in there. So it's a lot of stuff to manage, right?
It is.
The city of Seattle has a tendency to not reelect mayors, but there's a lot of, you can look at particular things, you can see what's happening, you don't plow the streets or you get involved with something else that goes into it. So they don't reelect. But it might also be this sense of like, well, we always want to try something new, like something new. And the hard part when you are running for reelection is they look at your record, right? And then it's what you said you're going to do and what's been done, but the process takes a long time. So sometimes it's easier to run as the new guy than the established.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
People want to sometimes go to a shiny object, and that's why it's important for anyone that's running for office, whether they're an incumbent or not, to make the case. And as a trained litigator, I'm making the case, and we think it's resonating. And again, if we were arguing with data and trends and crime rates and all the things that are in our favor, that's fine. But when people are walking around the streets and they're still seeing people dying of drugs and they're seeing drug trafficking in conditions that I find intolerable, and we're doing something about it, by the way, and we see homelessness conditions that are out there that are around this country and the state. And while my opponent would say, well, he's passing the buck, I don't pass the buck on anyone. I've been fighting the fight for a long time. I'm not, again, built that way to pass the buck. We drive the outcomes we want to see. But the fact of the matter is you have to make the record, John.
Yeah. What you have said, which I agree with, you've said we are now absorbing other people's homeless. They're coming to Seattle. In fact, the other day, I was talking to the folks over there at We Heart Seattle, and she ran into a number of people, and the guy said, there's a lot of guys coming in from Everett, a lot of people coming in from Burien, because they now have the no sit, no sleep stuff. And I brought this up with Katie Wilson, your opponent. I said, will you give me the fact that people are coming to Seattle, either from other cities or other states? And she sort of said, I don't mean to put words in her mouth or misquote her, that's okay because we're going to have the services for them and we're going to try to help them. But the numbers keep going up, possibly because people realize, hey, I can come to Seattle, I can get X, Y, and Z, right?
It's no surprising that you endorsed her because you let her off the hook. How could someone do a complete interview and my opponent never mentions one number? She'll say, I have a homelessness plan. There's no price associated with it. She was a chief defunder, and she says, we want to adequately staff the police. I say that's 1,480 police officers. I'll say I'll run it up to 1,500. My opponent will never say what that amount is. my opponent will, and I listened to your interview, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think there was one statistic involved. And I'll give you another good example. Yesterday we were at a forum. The question was very straightforward. Will you remove encampments from public places?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? What was her answer, John? Pass was her answer.
How many passes you are allowed in that?
So and I said yes, because the fact of the matter is if you look at the people we're offering shelter to, we offered 2,204 accepted shelter referrals in 2023. I'm quick to recite facts because I require my executive team to lead with data. And we had the similar amount the next year. And the fact is that we have removed 80% of encampments from parks because I don't want syringes in parks. I want them to be safe for our kids. And so I will remove. At the same time, we will offer shelter and meaningfully put people in conditions by which they can optimize their life. So I argue with data, and I need people to realize her new housing plan to put unsheltered people in the affordable housing units that are for teachers and baristas and social workers. That is a plan for disasters, what that is. And we held a press conference this morning, and we said that. Affordable housing developer said, it's not that Bruce Harrell has a better plan compared to hers. He has the only plan.
Yeah.
Looking at these are folks are realizing that many of these homeless individuals have acute mental illness issues. You need to have them in permanent supportive housing, and a recipe for disaster, putting people already at 60-70% of area median income and put them in there with a unit that's not equipped to deal with this demographic, and the staff aren't equipped to deal with this demographic. So once again, you all let people like that off the hook. If I came in with a very nebulous, unfinanced plan,
yes. Well, I'll tell you this.
Jam me up.
Bruce, I was amazed. I watched all the debates. I listened to all the debates. Your ability to recall without notes all the statistics, all the stuff, you had her on that. You beat her on that. When you bring somebody in, she was very defensive, as she probably should be. She's coming into a conservative libertarian sort of show here. I'm not going to get into, she's going to bring up some number. I'm not going to get into a data, argument whether we're aware of those sources or I don't know those. She doesn't have it. You know that she doesn't have those numbers. For whatever reason, she doesn't want to put them out there because then somebody has to hold them to it. But the nice thing is, again, for her, she doesn't have to say that, right? It seems to me this is the weird sort of tap dance you have to do. And I mean tap dance, not in the sense of, shenanigans or something, Bruce. But like, she's hard to the left. I mean, probably one of the most progressive. Well, I think Moon, who also ran for mayor, was also very, very progressive. So you have to come in there. You cannot be slightly to the right of her because then you get all these sort of, furies that'll fly all around the Greek mythology. They're all coming after you. So you have to be sort of beside her, if not at sometimes even what it seems to me, Bruce, is even further to the left of her.
Totally disagree.
Oh, come on. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to play a clip for you because this, to me, this is not.
Left me
Okay,
up.
you ready?
Go ahead, John.
Here you go.
Go ahead,
This
John.
does not seem like somebody. If the average Seattleite is going, well, we want law and order, we want to clean up the streets, right? You know which one it is, right? So to me, this was a hard left answer.
The criminal system has had a disparate impact on black and brown communities. Let me lead with that.
Because she was asked, she said someone's been arrested 6 or 7 times.
So when this person is committing 6 or 7 crimes, I don't know his or her story. Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe they're hungry. So my remedy is to find their life story to see how we could help first. I have no desire to put them in jail.
See, that is a hard left position, Bruce.
Wait.
I know, because you did keep going. You went for another. Okay, you went for another 23 seconds. But of course, that's not going to get the news.
No.
I know, but then you went around the back and said, but we need to provide safety for the people of Seattle. They can expect that. We're going to put police on the streets. We're going to make sure that we're there to support them. But you started, Bruce, you've been in this business for a long time. You started with like a way left position of like, I want to know if they're hungry and I want to know their story.
So let me explain that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Because that's gotten a lot of news.
First of all, I could have answered the question better. I'll own that part.
Okay. All right.
But I'm a very literal attorney sometimes.
Okay.
If a person's committed a crime 6 or 7 times, it's not felonious activity. They'd be under a habitual criminal statute. They would be locked up. And I'm in my mind, I'm thinking about Eric Garner, who was choked to death for selling one cigarette. I'm thinking about George Floyd, who had a counterfeit 20 bill. So I'm thinking about, why is this person committing a crime over and over? It's probably a minor crime. And we arrest a person for minor crime. What happens? They come right in. They go into jail. They come right back out. They go in. I want to first understand, why is this person cycling in and out of this petty stuff? Now, make no mistake about it. We arrest criminals for doing criminal activity. If you look at 12th and Jackson, we seized $3 million worth of drugs that will kill everyone in Seattle twice. We put away 14 of the most prolific drug dealers. You've seen an arrest strategy. I'm very tough on crime when it comes to that kind of stuff. My record, I was public safety chair in the council for 4 years and vice chair for 4 years. I spent 8 years of my legislative career in public safety work. And when I announced my kickoff, I was surrounded by police officers because I said, I'm not going to defund the police. I'm going to fully fund the police. And my opponent was the architect of the defund movement. So I don't have to lead with my credentials on making sure the criminal laws are enforced.
Right.
What we need, and I own what I say, that if this person is committing crime after crime after crime, modern criminology would suggest, what is the cycle this person is in? Now, I'm hearing of sort of like a victimless kind of crime. Now, and so, yes, I could have answered it better, but every time I explain that to people, people say, I get it. I get what you're saying. I want to stop the cycle of crime.
But when you added the last thing I want to do is put him in jail.
I did say that.
Yeah.
I did say that, but that's, you know how you media folks are. You go for the soundbite. That wasn't my best soundbite. So let me if you ask me the question again 6 or 7 times, I would say, well, number one, we'll stop the criminal activity, okay?
Yeah.
But we also must go a step further. And I got to tell you, this chief of police that I've hired, Chief Sean Barnes, who's a criminologist, who's a PhD, who's a Marine, he gets this. He knows when to be tough and also when to look at the upstream approach to why people are committing these crimes. And that's why I said, well, let me give you an example. I met with the store owners on shoplifting. And I said, people are shoplifting. Sometimes you're losing millions of dollars at an establishment. I asked them the question, why are they shoplifting? I just asked them, are they doing it to resell goods at a smaller store? Are they hungry? What? And I was shocked that they didn't have the data to support the problem. And they're not going to solve the problem until they know who's going in their store to steal. And so part of that was in my mind.
But that's not their job. Their job is to sell toothpaste. Their job is not to know why the person stole.
Their job is to look at their profit and loss statements, to look at where they have shrinkage, where they get increase revenue and decrease expenses. And if shrinkage is one of the issues, their job is to address it inside their store. If someone's coming into your house every day and they're stealing, you're going to address that as part of your core competence.
You see the Bellevue is going to do 3 strikes you're out on shoplifting?
I haven't read about that, no.
What do you think about that?
Well, I have to read it. 3 strikes, you're out. What are you out? You can't go in the store? What do you mean you're out?
No, I think you're going just like the old, what was it, 1997, John Carlson came up with 3 strikes, you're out. But then same thing they did in California, and they got rid of that. And then you could steal up to $900 and not have to go in. I think it's 3 strikes, you're going to jail.
Well, for 1 strike, you can go out of jail. I mean, depending on what you steal, there's a difference between a misdemeanor and a felony theft. So I don't know much about the rule, but the fact of the matter is that, yes, we have to understand that shoplifting affects the price of bread and milk.
Yeah.
And they're passing on these losses to us. So I put in our budget. For example, I can't remember the exact amount. Sometimes I don't have all the data.
I know. I'm still amazed you don't have one fact on this one, but you got them all.
I do. It's in my book over there. I'll go right and get it.
No, go ahead.
I put in a significant amount of money to help stores and theft, loss prevention. And so we're looking at strategy on what the city can do to assist these places in their theft issues. It's a huge issue.
I'm going to tell you a quick story. I did a ride-along. Hold on, Andrew, 1 second. I did a ride-along once a couple of years ago, and there was a guy. They pulled out from underneath the bathroom. He still had a needle in his arm, and when he came to, the cop was talking to him, explaining different places you can go. And then I went up, and the cop said to me, ask him why he's here. Are you ready for his story? He was in Idaho. He had his wisdom teeth removed. They put him on Oxy. He got on the Oxy, got hooked on Oxy, couldn't afford the Oxy anymore, started to try to find drugs there in Idaho. And then his friend said to him, you know what? Because at this point, he's completely addicted. He's 24 years old. Go to Seattle. You know why they sent him to Seattle? Go to Seattle. You can get all the drugs you want. You can be homeless. They'll take care of you. There's plenty of food, and you can be fine. And that's why he came to Seattle, right? And I think the problem, Bruce, is that Seattle Whether they're coming from Everett or coming from Idaho or coming from California, you can get the drugs. The cops aren't going to bother you. You can get fed. You can get housing. You can get everything you want. Now we'll even give you an apartment. I think the numbers will keep going up, Bruce, because we don't stop people from coming in from other cities. And then Seattle has to keep bearing all of the expenses. And plus the businesses are upset. The people are upset, the crime. And then you're going to have to spend all this money to keep moving people up and out or whatever. But they're coming in from somewhere else. I don't think we're generating all of these homeless people right from Seattle.
So I saw you, once again, let my opponent off the hook on that question. So let me address it head on, because I answer questions directly.
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
That's also what makes Seattle very special. We don't want to build walls and say, stay out because you have a problem. We are the home of Amazon and Microsoft and Starbucks and REI, and I could go down the list.
Yeah.
Right? We're innovative here. We're smart. And we are compassionate. Now, that doesn't mean we want our city overrun by criminals or people making bad decisions. That's why in my education levy, for example, every kid that graduates from Seattle Public Schools will be able to go to college 2 years for free. Now, how cool is that? That's why we're investing in pre-K and childcare, 4,500 new slots. Brain development between 0 and 4 is critical, and we're investing in that space. So these people that are making bad decisions, they were once a third grader. 80% of people in prison cannot read.
I get it.
So our upstream strategies is strong, and I have to be candid with you. I'm all in on trying to save the city from itself because we are liberal. We are funky in that way, and I love it, but we are not going to be so permissive as we let people destroy our city. I mean, if you look at our whole strategy of investments in Seattle, it's designed for that. My mom and dad did not go to college. I was not born of privilege. And here I am, a young biracial black and Japanese boy. I'm the mayor of one of the most important cities in this country. That's Seattle. They would give me an opportunity. But you have to work hard too. Yeah. I believe in a meritocracy. I'm a workaholic, and everyone around me knows that. So there are answers to all of the problems. Every single problem we have, whether it's homelessness, housing, there are actual answers. And I know one of the questions was, what is my homelessness plan? I could articulate that chapter and verse at some point right now if we want.
Oh, yeah, she had that. She
had that question. But I found that a strange question when she's talking about 4,000 units of emergency housing and can't put a price tag on it at all. And then she wants to put people, again, in affordable housing units when the affordable housing community says that's a bad idea. Our plan is very simple. It's a best practice. Number one, as I said earlier, 50% of the people since I've taken office from shelter have gone into permanent supportive housing. Many of these people have acute problems. When I talk about the approach has to be regional, it's because 85% of the tiny homes in the entire county are in Seattle. 63% of all of the shelter are in Seattle, and 70% of the people we're treating with your tax dollars are coming from different jurisdictions. So it has to be regional, and I'm hammering them to make that regional approach right now as we speak.
I'm going to give you, all right, we got to go to break. All right. Hey, guess what? You get to stay.
Okay.
All right, good. All right, let me get it.
I got this cushy thing. I'm good.
Yeah, you hear a little bit more music. Go over to Nate checking traffic for us. Nate, hi.
Thanks, John. The Emerald Queen Casino has his. It's a very busy commute this afternoon. Bellevue to Everett is 1 hour solid from Bellevue into Alderwood. Seattle to Everett has improved. We're down to 50 minutes. Linwood to Seattle, still a 55-minute drive. It's packed from Northgate past the West Seattle Bridge. North 5, bumper to bumper from about mid-Boeing Field in the downtown. A little further south, North 5 at Swift Avenue. A crash is fully blocking your on-ramp. Our lake bridges are doing okay. Seattle to Federal Way is at 45 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, an hour 15. Coming the other way, Olympia to Tacoma, 45 minutes. The Emerald Queen Casino is the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, finally, we've got ourselves some peace and quiet at the barn because Nick stopped saying to me, hey, we got to get organized. We got to get a new closet in the master bedroom, and what about the garage? And I said, okay, fine. So Closets by Design came in. The nice lady sat with us from 10 o'clock to from 10 to 3 and came up with an entire design, completely customized. And after she left, she had all the plans, and it was going to be completely customized, not some bits and pieces from some box that they jam into the wall. And I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, what is this going to cost? And then I see Closets by Design gives you 40% off plus 15% off and 18 months financing and free installation. The fact that they're locally owned, they've been around for 22 years, it's a family-run business. It's the kind of closet that if I were mayor of Seattle, I would call them. Bruce, and I'd have them come in and put in closets. There you go. 1-800-BY-DESIGN. That's 1-800-BY-DESIGN. That's closetsbydesign.com. And don't forget, these are locally owned companies that are working with you and your family to make sure that you are completely organized as you can possibly be. It's closetsbydesign.com.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This October, the Harnish Auto family is partnering up with Mobile Mammo Northwest in the fight against breast cancer. Mobile Mammo Northwest provides accessible mammograms to women across the Puget Sound, bringing early detection and care to those who need it most. For every test drive taken at a Harnish Auto family dealership, we will donate on your behalf. Join us in supporting Mobile Mammo Northwest at the Harnish Auto family, where people matter.
If you use carpool or toll lanes along SR 167 without a Good-to-Go account, you'll now receive a bill in the mail. That is a change. A Good-to-Go pass saves $2 on every toll. That is not a change. Learn more at goodtogo167.com.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Major progress overnight in demolishing the Bullfrog Road overpass on I-90 that was damaged earlier this week. More from KIRO News Radio's Chris Sullivan.
Contractors didn't need long in taking the overpass down. The bridge over the westbound lanes of I-90 is gone. All that's left is the concrete, rebar, and debris below. WashDOT says it will be next week before the westbound lanes will reopen, but that could change considering how fast the contractor demoed the bridge.
King County Council Vice Chair Reagan Dunn is calling for tougher penalties after that bridge strike. He wants a stupid motorist law to hold drivers of oversized loads accountable. Sherry Call is president of the Washington Trucking Association.
We're hoping to avoid punitive actions that penalize companies that have good track records and hope that King County Council is willing to work with the Trucking Association.
Now, this incident was the third bridge strike in some 90 days. New state agency tasked with investigating law enforcement use of deadly force is looking to expand. As KIRO News Radio's James Lynch tells us, the state budgets may be getting in their way.
The Office of Independent Investigations was created last December and currently conducts investigations in the Southwest region, but the agency is looking to expand to the rest of the state. The problem is its budget has already been cut by 20%. Still, OII will ask state legislators for 5 new investigators in January. OII Director Roger Rokoff told TVW's Inside Olympia,
"You cannot do this work without the numbers that we're talking about, and I am confident that when they have the money, we're going to get the people."
James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Thousands of Starbucks workers now gearing up to vote on whether or not to go on strike next week. KIRO 7 TV's Eric Thomas.
Redmond Starbucks baristas rallying for a new contract as strike authorization voting opens up. And Redmond action is part of a national wave of 70 pickets across 60 cities as baristas escalate contract demands and prepare to strike. Now, these developments, just the latest in an escalating push to get the coffee giant back to the bargaining table with workers demanding a new union contract with improved staffing, better hours, increased take-home pay, and more on-the-job protections for baristas.
No comment yet from Starbucks. We go now to Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
This report brought to you by ProSculpt. It is busy out there. Bellevue to Everett and Seattle to Everett are both 1-hour drives. 405 solid from mid-Bellevue into Alderwood now. And then you're going to join that North 5 back up through Linwood. I-5 is solid from the U District through Linwood. Linwood to Seattle back up to 1 hour, and it is really thick from Northgate past the West Seattle Bridge. At times in the U District, you're just not moving at all. North 5 bumper to bumper from mid-Boeing Field in the downtown. We just cleared that collision North 5 at the Swift Avenue on-ramp. Bellevue to South Center, 35 minutes. You got a typical backup here starting at 5:20. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway plan on 45 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, an hour 15. We've got a pretty solid backup now from South Tacoma all the way through DuPont. ProSculpt, the one-day permanent fat loss and skin tightening solution for men and women offered by New Skin Med Spa in Bellevue. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rain off and on tonight, and same for the weekends. Heavy downpours at times, and also a winter weather advisory for the mountains tomorrow night into Sunday. Right now, 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
KIRO 7 News live starting at 4. It's news that puts you there so you can see for yourself. News that's happening now so you're ready. News that investigates to get you answers, and news that's local because where you live matters. No more, no now on KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
All right, Bucky's Auto Service Center, been around for 50 years. How long has Bruce Harrell been around?
I've had 67 great years of living.
Okay. Well, Bucky's been around for 50. They got 16 locations. Take your car to Bucky's Auto Service Centers. All right, I got to say something. I'm amazed that you're here. First of all, I'm deeply complimented and flattered that you would be here and spend some time with us, the mayor of Seattle, Bruce Harrell. And then at the same time, I'm thinking, you're coming on my show, you're going over to Rance, you're going up against a complete neophyte in the world of politics. You've got all of these years of service, what is it, more than 30-some years of public service, plus also as a lawyer. You've got all the degrees and everything else. And here's the New York Times has this big piece on you guys running. And the fact that, like, she's within I don't know how many points of you. And that's why one of the questions I asked you, Bruce, was like, doesn't this feel like you're waking up from a bad dream of like, wait a minute, wait. I got this huge record. I got all this work. I know all these people. I work all the time. And how is she even, why isn't she 10 points away from me?
Well, there were 8 people running.
True.
And it was a low voter turnout in Seattle, and we think with another 80,000 or so people voting, they're actually paying attention to who my opponent is and what I've actually done. And the fact is I only did 3 debates during the primary. Mm-hmm. I have a city to run, and we have pressing issues we're trying to resolve. And perhaps I should have done more debates. I don't know. We did 3 debates. And again, we think heading into the general in 10 or 11 days that it's very clear what the choices are, and Seattle will make a decision.
You're confident, though, aren't you?
It's not confidence that drives me, John. It's hard work, and it's life experiences. I mean, quite frankly, I'm telling stories that were true. I just said the other day we were talking about NIL and collegiate athletes, and this morning we were talking about we're celebrating the renovation of a food bank.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I was once on food stamps when I was in college. The University of Washington athletes, many of us, we were on scholarships, and they wanted to keep us fed, and we were getting food stamps. I know what it's like to go to college with a concussion or dizzy or limping and hungry. I had to keep my scholarship to pay in college. My opponent had a sort of a free ride at Oxford because she was in a position to do that. I don't fault her for that. I wish my parents didn't go to college. They didn't have it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk to people about going into the general, I say that's the tenacity you have to have in a mayor, particularly with Trump threatening to do what he's doing and threatening federal funds. I've argued in federal court and state court in front of juries. And so the stakes are very high. I mean, there's nothing to be giddy about in this race. And so it's not confidence, is that I have to be motivated to keep us on the right track. Am I happy with conditions that I see in Seattle? Of course not. Do I think that it's all of a sudden affordable? Of course not. These are problems that have been decades in the making. But I will guarantee you I'm best prepared to do this job over my opponent. So it's not confidence. It's just the ability to do hard work.
There's what's the prayer of the 12 steps that you have to be, the things you cannot change. The things you cannot change, there's a great article that was done by a professor in the UK, and he calls it the donut. And he looked at, I think, 4 major cities, San Francisco. He didn't include Seattle in this, but it could have been. The change because of the pandemic and now working from home, hybrid working, AI, all of this stuff hitting especially tech sector cities like Seattle and San Francisco. San Francisco's population has dropped quite a lot. So here's Seattle. You have 36% vacancy rate. This sort of stuff you can't change, that AI and work from home. That the mayor of Seattle is not going to affect that. But something has to be done in order to keep the tax base strong. And to me, it would be we need people coming back. If the businesses aren't going to come back, then we need small businesses to be back, and we need to make sure that people are coming in and spending money. Right, that's a big part of it. But when you put a B&O tax in place, and I know it's only 1% or whatever the percentage. Do you think you're creating a business-friendly environment, saying, come to Seattle, make a long-term investment, and we will treat you with respect because you are the job creators?
Well, first of all, there's a few assumptions in your question I want to correct.
Okay.
A mayor can change some of the conditions of occupancy downtown, and I'll talk about that in a second. But to your point, yes, my opponent said, well, if we tax these businesses, we may lose a few jobs. We lost 10,000 jobs in the high-tech sector. The job growth, they've laid off outside of that over 46,000 jobs. The high-tech sector, just to pull that one out, is responsible for about 40% of our jobs. And so we have to look at that as a strategic investment that we need those jobs here in Seattle. So yes, the tax plan, the B&O tax plan that we've driven, we factored into job loss when we did it. So 90% of the businesses get a tax break, number one, because I'm a firm believer in the development of small businesses. We have programs in our Office of Economic Development that are groundbreaking in terms of how we're funding and assisting jobs. We have a Liberty Project. We're giving them social media training, human research. We're doing all of that stuff, okay? But the B&O tax, you don't see opposition to it. And when I say that, we should be proud of Amazon's growth, but the fact is they made $60 billion last year, and we should be proud of Microsoft's growth, but they made over $80 billion last year. And I've talked to these folks. I'm proud of their growth. I'm not denigrating in any way their growth, but I believe that it comes with also responsibility. And their responsibility, and they're investing in
Amazon's $1.8 billion into housing.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
So while they may take that as criticism, I think they understand their role in our society. So our tax policy has to be balanced to make sure we want the jobs here, we wanted them created here. And in AI, for example, we're investing in the AI House, which is an incubator for all of these startup AI companies. And so we want to take full advantage of that. Here, you take culture and arts, for example. Here, the entry point for music has lowered now with social media and other types of avenues to get into it. The use of AI and technology now is a tool to be monetized. And so here we could sort of figure all that out here in Seattle as a strategic advantage. So we have a great opportunity in front of us in terms of even culture and arts and technology. No, I don't want to lose those jobs. And I have 16 years of proving that my strategy is to try to keep businesses here.
If a business heard Bruce say, you know what, I'm going to go through, I'm going to do a baseline budgeting, and I'm going to have everybody in here justify their job. We got 14,000 employees, and I'm a big data guy. And if what you're doing is not moving that line, and I can't prove that your salary moves the metric, then you're gone. If I heard a mayor say, rather than asking you for more money, I'm going to go in there and look at the money we already have, and I'm going to start whacking jobs. And I'm going to start getting rid of departments. And this is going to go and that's going to go because this stuff at the bottom line doesn't help. And to me, then I'd go, okay, he's respecting the money that he's taking from me, and he's looking at his own house rather than asking me to try to generate more money.
Not to brag.
Go ahead.
I do hold a master's degree in organizational design and improvement. And I was on the dean's list, and I study systems analysis pretty thoroughly and pretty seriously. And you are right that I can tell you with the experience I have as being mayor for the last 3.5 years, there are all kinds of redundancies and inefficiencies in city government. I get it. And we already have plans on how we can address that. Attrition is real, and so people will retire, and so there will be opportunities to streamline processes. So all in on that approach. And you are right. We will raise philanthropic dollars to solve housing as well, and they are willing to invest. And you are right. I have to sell it. And I sell it by looking at our efficiencies and making sure we are a good partner. We dropped the ball on the Regionalist Homelessness Authority. Again, big shoulders. I get blamed for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was one of probably 44 people that had a role in its governance structure. There's a continuum of care, the implementation board, and the governing committee. And as I said earlier, Seattle's the only city of the 39 cities really putting in money into this model. And I have the same both these other jurisdictions have. They're doing what they'd sign up to be. I'm not denigrating them, but we're changing that model. That's how we'll solve it.
I like the fact that you listen to the people, so I want you to get rid of this job. You have a job listing in here. You probably don't know about it. It's okay. You ready? You're going to pay $81 an hour. It's flexible and hybrid. Equity Strategy Policy Practice Advisor for SPU, Seattle Public Utilities, the people involved with water and toilets and stuff. And then it goes on to explain what the job is. And it is like, I'm like, I can't even figure out what the job entails. But it's, you are looking for equity strategy policy practice advisor in race and culture justice and leadership role. You'll be working with SPU executives, blah, 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 blah. The position will have responsibility for equity advising, learning and strategy and capacity building and policy making and blah, 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 blah. Like, when you pay that person, what, like $200,000 by the time it's all done? What are they doing when we're talking about flushing toilets, Bruce?
So I don't know the specific.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to try to.
But one of the ideas that I have asked my team to look at, number one, that there are a lot of redundancies in Seattle Public Utilities and City Lights. They may have common HR systems, IT systems, onboarding systems. And when we look at how we could build out efficiencies, we want to make sure everyone is affected equally. Some people are struggling to pay their light bill right now or their power bill. You know, right now, or their water bill. Our light bill is around 17, 18 cents per kilowatt hour. We want to be below the national average. Our water bill is around 14, 15 cents per CCF. That's 100 cubic feet. We want to be below it, and we want to make sure we're protecting communities, and they know how to use the tools in front of them if they're eligible for discounts. And so we want to address that head on to make sure everyone is treated fairly, and we want to integrate services to the extent we can. So I don't know if that job entails that, but this is the direction coming from my department because we have a monopoly on water and power, so we have to use that monopoly wisely.
But if I heard the mayor go, look, I'm going to go in there and start looking, I'm going to be more responsible with your money. I'm not going to ask for more until we make sure every single person that's in here is all, pulling their weight and working hard. I'll trust that with your master's degree and your 30 years of experience and everything else, you'll do that. Now, next time you in here,
I will do it, and we are doing that, and I believe that our city employees are committed to the one vision model where we all have to work together. And I can tell you horror stories and when we haven't been working together when I first took office.
Okay, one last thing. Who's going to win on Saturday against the Fighting Illini?
I've learned one thing. I believe in my dogs.
You're a politician. Just answer.
UW, University of Washington.
There he goes, your mayor, with all those years of experience. Wants the job again.
Yes, I do.
You're all right. You got Jason Rantz on Monday. Wow, look at you. Huh?
Well, my oldest son's name is Jason, so we'll be fine.
Yeah, like, oh, yeah, you're going to be fine with that. That'll last about 3 seconds. All right, thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it. Mr. Mayor, thanks for your time. This quick, go over to Nate over there checking traffic. Nathan.
All right, John, Emerald Queen Casino's got the quick update. North 5 at South 216th and South Center. New crash blocks 2 left lanes. You're backed up to South 260th. Federal Way to Seattle's up to 50 minutes. That's a 20-minute delay. Got a new crash in Renton, North 405, right there at the Valley Freeway. It's now in your Gore Point, but once first responders arrive, most likely we'll have a lane blocked. South Center to Bellevue right now is at 35 minutes. Linwood to Seattle up to an hour 5. Tacoma to Olympia, an hour 20. The Emerald Queen Casino is the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, you know what you want to do if you want to live a long, healthy life and be around, just like, by the way, the mayor here has challenged me to a push-up contest. He doesn't know that I'm get out of here. You're not allowed to touch me. I'm on the air doing a commercial. Where's my security? Longevity Medical Clinic, from 25 years, the good doctors there have made sure that you, even though we're all getting older, yes, Bruce, even you, that you want to be able to fight against the big things like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer that take most of us out of the game. Early indicators, you can work proactively with the good doctors at Longevity and have a longer, healthier life. Because just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to suffer the aches and pains and everything else that goes along with getting older. The good doctors, my doctors, there at Longevity Medical Clinic, ask a number of things of me. I do 4 blood draws a year, and then I get a chance to talk to them on the phone or in person for 1 hour. And we go through an extensive list. And we look for every single indicator of how I'm aging, and then we are proactive to either stop it or reverse it. It all starts with you taking the free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kind of like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
Experience
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings, departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
And from the KIRO Newsradio Traffic Desk, we check out South Center where we just cleared our collisions, North 5 at 216th. Over to your right shoulder, but you're bumper to bumper at 260th. Federal to Seattle, 50 minutes. Over in Renton, North 405 at the Valley Freeway, we got a collision in the Gore Point. South Center to Bellevue, 35 minutes. Bellevue to Everett, Seattle to Everett is still 1 hour commutes. Linwood to Seattle, an hour 5. And you're bumper to bumper from Northgate past the West Seattle Bridge. Tacoma to Olympia, an hour 20. Solid from South Tacoma into Nisqually. This report brought to you by the Tacoma Holiday Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates. Going on now through the 26th at the Tacoma Dome. Buy tickets at holidaygift.shows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Did you know September is historically one of the strongest months to sell a home, and there's typically a post-Labor Day boost that runs through October and sometimes even later. So is now the time to sell your home, and how much is it worth? Well, get an estimate of your home's value instantly at sellwithwest.com. If you want local expertise, someone who actually knows what's happening with the housing market in your neighborhood, there's no one more local than Wes Jones. Go to sellwithwest.com, sellwithwest.com, and start by using their free home value calculator to see what your home is worth. It might be worth more than you think. You'll get so much more than just a number from Wes Jones. We're talking about recent sales in your neighborhood, the market temperature in your city, side-by-side comparisons of multiple online estimates. You can even calculate how much equity you have, and even a breakdown of how your home's value has changed over time. Go to sellwithwest.com, type in your address, and bam, you'll have instant access to all of this and more. It's fast, easy, it's local. Sellwithwest.com, a better way to sell your home.
For the news you trust.
Breaking news we are getting.
Experience matters.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo.
James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Good morning. I'm Heather Bosch.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
We're on YouTube, our app, and 97.3 FM.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
You can count on the Seattle Times for trusted local news and information. The Seattle Times is one of the few independent, locally owned news organizations in the country right here in the Pacific Northwest. Take a closer look with the Seattle Times. Dig into investigative journalism that holds those in power accountable. Discover a new perspective. Gain a deeper understanding. Learn something new about where we live. Subscribe today and don't miss a beat at seattletimes.com/subscribe.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
What's better than soaking every night in a saltwater hot spring spa? Knowing you got it for an incredible price during Olympic Hot Tub's great rebate event. Save up to $4,500 on the best hot tub you can own. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The federal government shut down 24 days ago, and many federal workers did not get paid today. WTOP's Lynn Bowie.
Today should have been payday, but instead this federal worker received nothing. We agreed to alter their voice and not use their name.
I'm seeing all of this gold in the White House, and I'm hearing about money being sent to other countries, and I just don't understand why it doesn't feel like America first.
They've been with their federal agency for over 3 decades.
I give my all as a federal employee.
But right now, they say they're not getting enough support. And with 2 adult children living at home, things are tight. Lynn Bowie for CBS News, Washington.
The Pentagon sends its largest aircraft carrier to the Caribbean after carrying out a 10th strike at sea overnight on what President Trump has said are drug smuggling vessels. He's also made the case for removing Venezuela's president. CBS's Charlie D'Agata.
This is a major escalation which will dramatically surge the amount of ships, aircraft, and troops to the region, and there is no greater projection of U.S. military power than a carrier strike group. The deployment of the Ford aircraft carrier and its escorting warships to the Caribbean is the strongest signal yet the U.S. is preparing to widen its airstrike campaign in the region.
President Trump will soon head for Asia and a visit that includes an economic summit. It comes after a TV ad featuring former President Reagan appearing to criticize tariffs aired in Ontario that prompted Trump to say he's ending trade talks with Canada. CBS's Nicole Killian.
Now that this Ontario Premier Doug Ford has said that this ad will come down, it will again be interesting to see if, in fact, the White House is willing to resume these trade talks, as the Premier seems to suggest.
Canada's Prime Minister says they're ready to resume trade talks with the U.S. Investigators have determined that the October 10th blast at an explosives plant in Tennessee that killed 16 people originated in a building that was used to mix explosives for the mining industry. Jamie Van Vliet, special agent in charge of the ATF's Nashville Field Division, says investigators searched more than 500 acres.
Our National Response Team, certified explosive specialists, engineers, chemists, and other experts worked carefully, oftentimes on their knees, hand sifting, and methodically examining every inch of the affected area.
The cause of the blast is still under investigation. Excitement in Toronto this hour. As Game 1 of the World Series gets underway between the Blue Jays and LA Dodgers. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, more fallout from a crash involving a sheriff's major. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
And this one brought to you by the Harnish Auto family. Bellevue to Everett, Seattle to Everett are both hanging on at 1 hour apiece. 405 solid from mid-Bellevue into Alderwood. I-5 is solid from the U District through Linwood. Everett to Marysville, you're at 20 minutes, and it's bumper to bumper from the Snohomish River up to 529. Linwood to Seattle is a solid hour, and it is jam-packed from Northgate Way all the way to I-90. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle, not too bad on 520, 20 minutes, half hour on I-90. North 5 is packed at the Michigan Curve in the downtown. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, plan on 45 minutes. We're pretty solid from Renton all the way into Puyallup. Tacoma to Olympia, an hour, 25 minutes. It is solid from South Tacoma into Nisqually. We are Harnish Auto Family, and this month we've partnered with Mobile Mammo Northwest. For every test drive you take, we'll make a donation on your behalf. Harnish Auto Family, people matter. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granello. A Pierce County Sheriff's Major is now off the force as he faces 2 counts of vehicular assault. KIRO 7 TV's Gary Horka reports Chad Dickerson has retired.
Dickerson's career spans 25 years. Dickerson was charged on Wednesday with 2 counts of vehicular assault for a suspected DUI crash in Graham, which happened back in July.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports the sheriff's office is also investigating deputies' conduct at the scene, including why some turned off their body cameras.
At a press conference Thursday, Sheriff Keith Swank said every deputy at that July crash scene involving his major, Chad Dickerson, where a family was injured, is under review because
should have had their camera on.
However, court documents show some deputies did not record with their body cameras, something Pierce County policy allows. Sheriff Swank says he's trying to change his office's policy. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Alaska Airlines still trying to recover after a ground stop last night. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has more from SeaTac Airport.
Airline officials saying an IT outage is to blame. This family coming from Beijing shocked at how the issues are being handled.
We spent more time waiting in line to try to figure out our canceled flight than it took to fly from China to Seattle.
Alaska Airlines officials say they're working on finding solutions for everybody, but meanwhile, they're asking people to be patient.
Got a big mess at Seattle's Emerson Elementary caused by a broken water fountain. It flooded both floors and forced the school to close. Parents got the alert yesterday. Classes are canceled through Monday. Cal Raleigh was named the MLB Player of the Year today by Sporting News. The award is voted on by more than 300 fellow players. Mariners President of Baseball Operations, Jerry DiPoto.
It was a phenomenal season. If it wasn't the best season a catcher's ever had, it's certainly one of the best 2.
Raleigh becomes just the second catcher to win the award since it was first presented back in 1936. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rain right now, but the shower should taper off later on tonight. Mainly quiet overnight, but then off and on downpours Saturday and Sunday. Right now, 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Luckily for you, I don't worry about the time clock.
Yes, in the world of radio, Andrew really does run the show. We got Bruce Harrell, the mayor of Seattle, sitting there.
Very important interview.
I know. I mean, just like, so we got to cut away so Nate can tell you where the traffic is.
That's the nature of the game around here.
I know. Hey, I should have held him to it. You're right. You're right. We got ads. We got spots to run. We got a show to run here. We're wasting time. All right. What did you have Joe say again? What was Joe's little drop there?
Yeah, luckily for you, I don't worry about the time clock.
I'm an nerd. We're about the time clock.
When did I say that? Wow.
Don't you remember saying that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Nobody seems to remember when they say these drops that I save. You archive, yeah. You must have had that one up your sleeve for a while.
Okay. Joe, I'm going to give you this on my phone because I'm going to just fact check something before we get into it, but I'll take care of the rest of the stuff. We decided that we would at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Let's do it at 5 o'clock from now on. There's so much Trump news. I thought, you got to get in this Trump's news, but I want to be in the good mood for all this Trump stuff. Some good news, some bad news. So I said to Joe, come up with a jingle. Would you do that? Get the guys downstairs, get the band back together again, get them downstairs and record something. And Joe's like, well, I'll see what I can do. And I said, well, go ahead. And then
Some say he's a savior, a beacon so bright. Others scream danger, they're ready to fight. Building up walls or tearing them down. A hero, a villain, a king or a clown.
Yeah.
Love him or hate him, there's no in between. The loudest of dreams or the darkest of scenes. Making it great or breaking it all. The Trump administration's a wild free for all.
Nice, Joe. Good job. Way to go.
The guys are great.
They really came together quickly on that. It was nice. So here's a couple of stuff. So this is not going to happen. Steve Bannon said a lot of things. I can say something. Steve Bannon is the only guy. He went to jail, and I forget the other guy that went to jail for contempt of Congress. The list of people that have gone to jail for contempt of Congress, pretty short. Bannon was one of them because they don't like him.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president in 28. And people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States.
Now, whether Bannon, he's a very smart guy, whether he's just doing this to troll, because if you look at what they did in the first 100 days or even the first 2 days, they threw so much stuff out there that the media couldn't keep track and they couldn't follow one thing after another. They just released the hounds. They were all over the place. They'd start to chase down one story. Still, they had that one out. They'd fire another one out. And they thought they're just trolling on this. I called a friend of mine that works at the White House. He's like, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. They would just throw everything out there. The media runs around. There's not enough of them. And by the time they sort of run those stories down, they're about to get to whatever it is, find out there's nothing at the other end of it. They fire another one out. So, is this bad? I mean, if you want to make people upset, tell them, 22nd Amendment, we're going to work our way around that.
We have to finish what we started.
And then you start to say stuff like this.
And the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
Okay. Now everybody's like, oh my God.
Okay, no, wait, though. But Trump is not helping this rumor when he has Trump 2028 hats everywhere.
Right.
And he's putting out videos where they go from 2028 to 2042. They just keep on going up to 2100.
Right, because then follow it if you are in the media. The media then follows, well, can he do this? How would he do it? Why would he do it? He's the king. He's trying to take over. He's trying to implement all these things. Right, what it does is it stops anybody from talking about Vance or anybody else that's thinking of running. In a way, he closes off the media from starting to talk about anybody else that might want to run for president. Because then what happens is, normally about in the next year or less after the congressional races that happen, you're going to start to see people start to move in on the field, and then they're going to be asked questions. They're going to ask Vance, well, what do you think about blowing up possible drug boats coming out of Venezuela? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then somebody else comes along and they want to run for president. They're going to be asked about, what do you think about the tariffs, right? In a way, what this does is this fortifies Trump from having other people that are in the party have to be asked questions about the Trump administration. It seals it all off because then the media chases, well, this is a constitutional crisis, and what is he going to do, and how can he do this? You should know that FDR, who was a horrible person, an awful, awful human being, who, by the way, when it came to executive orders, no one will ever get close to the great FDR with more than 3,700 and some executive orders. Talk about a king. Oh, because we were in a depression and we were going to war and he was the greatest. This guy did more to screw up this country and to make Americans dependent upon the government. Next to it would be, I would go, FDR would be number one, the worst. When it came to expanding the size of the government and making people dependent upon the government. When he gave his speeches, this big speech about want and need, and they're in the rich country, we're going to make sure no one goes hungry and everybody gets a house and everybody gets a job and everybody gets this, something for everybody. He was the one that expanded all of it. And Social Security, by the way, nobody wanted it. Nobody talked about it. It was not something that the American people were dying for. They just simply expected the fact that, well, I work hard and I'll put some money away and I'll try to save some money and then I'll probably die in a couple of years. And Roosevelt comes in and gets this whole thing going with Social Security because he knows, how do we get people dependent upon it? How do we make sure that they vote Democrat for the rest of their lives? And how do we make sure their kids vote Democrat for the rest of their lives? I know. Let's just start giving everybody something. So it was FDR that started that whole thing. And that is a true beginning of America moving in the direction of the federal government overstepping what constitutionally it's supposed to do. And the reason he got 3 terms is because there was nothing it was a 22nd Amendment. Before that, they had never written anything. It was George Washington they wanted him to run again. He goes, no, I don't want to run again. I don't want to be a king. I don't want to stay in there. Get somebody else to get in there. But Roosevelt's like, oh, we need to be in there because we're in war. We're not going to trade horses in the middle of the stream. This is going to be very dangerous for everybody. But then I think it was 1947 or 54 by the time it got passed, memory serves me correctly, the 22nd Amendment is like, nope, no, you don't get 3 whacks at it. You get 2 and that's it. And that's all you're going to get. So how would he possibly do it?
I don't know.
He won't. But again, it's a false flag. It's for people. It's in the media to run after this. When did he say this? Yesterday?
Bannon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so now you're going to see all these stories. The New York Times, well, this is what a king does, and it takes over.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
Wow, a great compliment coming for you. Like, for instance, the tariffs. So the Supreme Court is going to eventually rule on the tariffs, but the tariffs and the effects of the tariffs, people are looking. So the numbers that just came out, 3% inflation, up a little bit, but not the calamity that everybody was predicting would happen when they first announced all the tariffs. They thought inflation would shoot up. And now the Fed is looking at, well, this isn't so bad. So maybe we'll drop interest rates again. Maybe we'll bring them down a little bit because we're not seeing inflation where it is, going up a little bit and then come down. So we're going to have to adjust those numbers. So maybe they make another cut when it comes to interest rates, which everybody's hoping for. And they would love that. The other news is the fact that Canada has decided to take Ronald Reagan. And I looked to see, and I listened to the entire speech that Reagan gave. It has not been edited in any way to be misleading.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on...
This is an ad that is running and will run in game. Did it run with the Seattle?
It ran in Game 7 of the Toronto Mariners series, and Ford tweeted today that it will run for the first 2 games of the World Series, and then they're going to pause it.
Ford in Ottawa.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Foreign imports.
Let me back up. Let me back up the Gipper.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
So the Gipper's words used against Donald Trump, and then Trump tweets out, Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used the advertisement, which is fake, all capitalized, featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. Yeah, he never had a good word to say about him. The ad was for $75,000. They only did this to interfere with a decision in the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs, all not capital letters, tariffs are very important to the national security. See, that he's using that as a reason I need this like an emergency. So I'm doing this. And the economy and the U.S. base. Based on this egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. When did you have me tweet that one out? So here's what's happened with the tariffs. Remember when they were first announced, they were really, really high, and then slowly, the Wall Street Journal today, slowly but surely, they've all like dropped much lower than previously said they were going to be. And here are the numbers from The Economist magazine right now. Any tariffs that have been placed on any imports into the United States, 51% of the tariff that is there is being eaten by the business, right? So they're absorbing it. 37% is being absorbed by the customer in slightly high prices. 9% is federal. So the foreign importers, exporters are getting a piece of that. They're paying a piece of that. They're eating that. And then 3% is evasive. So what happens is they were not as high as everybody expected. They're much lower than expected, but still no one has felt it yet because most of the manufacturers are saying, well, we don't want to raise prices too quickly. They purchased a whole bunch of products pre-tariff. Those numbers came in. They supplied their shelves with them. Now the next big purchase has to come up now. How much of the additional tariff cost will we see on the shelf? And then how much will the U.S. economy and therefore the consumers begin to see those numbers? And then the real inflation number will be coming up probably January, February, somewhere in there. That'll tell you the story. And then you can have the real serious problems from it. The biggest problem with tariffs, I found this. Is there sound in here but my tariff people? Yeah, here we go. This is the worst thing about tariffs. And once they are in place, listen.
I just don't see how you get rid of these things. Partly because when companies adjust to the tariff protection, then they don't want to give it up because it represents a cost to them. The other is that if you look at the history of negotiating away tariffs, it requires you to build a domestic consensus where you give some groups, interest groups, tariff relief, and you protect and you give others gains in foreign markets, and you try and match these things up to build domestic support. Well, one of the reasons tariffs haven't been so damaging is that there hasn't been much retaliation. So tariffs abroad remain very, very low. What is there to negotiate with? The other thing that Trump has done is not just put up tariffs, he's also basically got rid of most favored nation status, which means there is no anchor to US tariff policy at all. It's completely arbitrary. Sometimes you see him imposing a tariff on Brazil, sometimes on India. This week, he's threatening huge tariffs on China. That uncertainty, while there is no anchor, no MFN that acts as a discipline, means that there's a kind of randomness and arbitrariness to tariff policy, which makes it completely unpredictable, and that acts as a constant weight on US.
Go ahead. Can I make one more point as well, which is I think we have to be a bit careful saying, it doesn't seem to have had much impact. In the first half of the year, the US economy grew at an annual rate 1.1%. If you ignore the 2020 pandemic, you have to go all the way back to 2012 to find a half that's as weak as that. So you do have a growth hit from some combination of these policies. You do have an inflation bump. And it's roughly in line with what you might have predicted in April if you'd said the actual tariffs are going to be half as big. So you combine that short-term hit, which I do think is visible, with your point, Ed, and I don't think that's a happy picture.
And the other thing is that, the real measure of how much harm this has will be the counterfactual of what growth would have been sustained over many, many years.
Yeah, this is always the number that is really hard to find, right? This is the number of who is really truly affected, where are the lost opportunities.
You don't have to have a recession, this year in order to think that this is a bad policy. It's the lost opportunity that I think will be immense.
Yeah, there we go. And the other part of it is with tariffs, when the U.S. puts these things and basically builds these walls up, right? The rest of the world, the trading partners in those worlds are like, well, okay, well, we'll sell to you and we'll sell to you and we'll sell to you and you. And here's the U.S. with
They
the
find new
protectionism.
partners.
Yeah, they find new partners. Like, well, then somebody else will buy it. We'll produce it for somebody else. And, sure, they are a gigantic marketplace, but we'll make adjustments and we'll sell elsewhere. And then you have the big walls that are put up. And then the U.S. gets the protectionism that it was hoping from the tariffs. I've never been a tariff fan. Ronald Reagan has never been. You look at Milton Friedman, and again, the problem is once you put them in place, having to take them down is extremely difficult. Even when they were put in place with other administrations, with Democrat administrations, they didn't want to bother trying to go through it and break them all up, so they were still in there. And once they're in there, certain industries will lobby to always have the protection. Rather than innovating, they'll just hope that the government protects them from outside sources that are going to produce the product in a cheaper way. In some ways, it has worked, like, for instance, with aluminum. So aluminum is now being produced in the United States. It's about a penny more than the cost of what was coming in from China. Okay, so in some cases, American corporations and businesses will eat part of that. But at a certain point, they won't continue to eat the additional cost, and they'll have to pass it on. And that will be a big problem once those things go in place, because then what happens is, well, then you've got the House and the Senate, and the American people are going to be like, wait a minute, inflation is going to go back up to where it was, would never go to where it was with Biden, but certainly people vote with their pocketbooks. And the Trump folks know that. And there's enough of them that are in there that are trying to get his ear going, hey, we got to do something about this. So go ahead and threaten 100%, threaten 50%, but bring it back down, which they've done with many of them. Oh, it's going to be 50. And they're like, okay, it's only 10. It's only 15. But you throw the big number out, then you hope they negotiate off the big number, right? And then you get down to where you want, and then you get something. What have we gotten out of it? About $30 billion. That's what the United States has gotten, $30 billion of tariff dollars. But again, what's the cost downstream to the $30 billion? Are we all paying for that? Do we really save any money by having these tariffs in place? So
is the Canada thing? Is that just
that's just bull crap?
So
they got to.
Some say he's a savior, a beacon so bright. Others scream danger, they're ready to fight.
You ready,
Building
everybody?
up walls or tearing them down. A hero, a villain, a king or a clown.
Here we go.
Love him or hate him, there's no in between. The loudest of dreams or the darkest of scenes. Making it great or breaking it all.
Get
the
it.
Trump administration's a wild free for
Good, Nate.
all.
Good. Here's Nate checking traffic, Nathan.
Hey, John, KIRO Radio Rundown. It's a very busy commute this afternoon. It's really been busy for the past 6 hours. Tacoma to Olympia, we've improved. We're at an hour and 10 minutes. You've got an 8-mile bumper-to-bumper backup between Lakewood and DuPont. Bellevue to Everett and Seattle to Everett are still hanging on at 1-hour commutes. 405, you're solid from Kirkland into Alderwood. I-5 is solid from Lake City way through Linwood. Linwood to Seattle, 55 minutes. It is jam-packed from Northgate all the way to I-90. North 5 at the West Seattle Bridge. We have a new crash. It's blocking your 2 right lanes. You're backed up to the north end of Boeing Field. Seattle to Federal Way, 35 minutes. And in Federal Way, both directions of I-5 are packed between State Route 18 and 54th in Fife. Text the newsletter to 888-973-5476 and subscribe to the daily KIRO News Radio Rundown. Get the latest news and updates from your favorite KIRO News Radio shows straight to your inbox. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, Closets by Design, thank you very, very much for the work that you did there at the barn. It really is amazing. Because Nick kept telling me it's going to make it feel so much better when you go into the master bedroom and you open that little drawer. That was the first exciting thing she showed me. He goes, look, here's a place for your watches. I'm like, I have 3 watches and it has like 10 spots. She goes, well, isn't that fancy? Yes, of course. So it's very organized. And the garage now has an entire wall of cabinets. Let me tell you what a great job Closets by Design did. They happen to say, so what do you do with all the laundry? It sounds like you do a lot of laundry. You have people that spend the night here. Yes, we do like 85 towels we have to wash. And she goes, well, where do you store all that stuff? they were all over the place. How about we build a cabinet for you that matches the woodwork in that room, and then you can store all of the towels and the sheets and everything else. It's like, there you go. That's the expertise of Closets by Design. That's what you get. You don't pay a whole lot for it. 40% off plus additional 15% off and 18 months financing and free installation. That's Closets by Design, 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
A
celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football.
Number 45, Kenny Easley, as pure an athlete as has ever played that free safety position. Saw him the very first day at training camp after his first-round draft choice. All of us veterans looked at each other and said, we've got something here, and we sure did.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Announcing the Royal Corgis.
What have you done?
I wired pounds to London to buy Royal Corgis.
You went to the bank to wire money for Royal Corgis?
That means yes.
You are so dumb. Banks are slow and they hide all kinds of fees and transfers.
Those mutts.
If you want to send money overseas, use Wise. It's faster and never hides fees. Oh, they're fighting, just like the real royal family.
You can save up to 70% when you send money abroad. Be smart. Get Wise. Learn more by visiting wise.com. T's and C's apply.
Cancer impacts so many families, including mine. Former Washington Husky Mario Bailey here. My mother was treated for cancer at UW Medicine. As devastating as cancer is, there is hope because the Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing vaccines to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Patients who received vaccines over 20 years ago are still alive today. Please join me and make a donation to the Cancer Vaccine Institute at local Safeway stores. Learn more at uwcvi.org.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. Alaska Airlines is bringing in outside experts to overhaul its IT systems. This after 2 major outages in just 4 months. The latest failure last night grounded flights for 8 hours and canceled hundreds of trips.
Alaska blames an issue at a data center, not a cyber attack. Thousands of passengers like Trisha Quigley were stuck for hours. She called KIRO 7 TV from onboard her flight to Seattle from Puerto Vallarta.
We were supposed to leave originally around 4:45, so we've been sitting here for quite a while.
This is the second IT outage for the airline since July. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Washington Trucking Association is redoubling its safety training after that oversized load hit the Bullfrog Road overpass on I-90 near Cle-Elum. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
When the Bullfrog Road overpass was hit Monday by an oversized load, it became the third such incident in 90 days. The WTA says it works with the Washington State Patrol on training and enforcement and will look to develop even more resources to ensure drivers are prepared to operate safely. Sherry Call is WTA president.
We're gathering best practices to ensure drivers are aware of the height, and if there's anything we can do to enhance that, we're absolutely ready to do so.
Currently, trucking companies are responsible for infrastructure damaged by its drivers. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Newly formed state agency that investigates police use of deadly force wants to expand. Roger Rogoff oversees that Office of Independent Investigations, and he tells TVW.
Let's make it work. Let's finish the job. We've proven we can do it and do it well. Let's get us the resources we need so we can do it everywhere.
Rogoff says he will be pushing the legislature for 5 new investigators, even though his agency's budget has already been cut by 20%. I'll expect wet and windy weather through Monday. Meteorologist Ted Wiener says we could see some powerful wind gusts, especially along the coast.
All of that is going to start to pull down a lot of the leaves that are ready to come down. And there's the possibility of a few isolated power outages.
And high elevation snow as well. That means some of our mountain passes are off limits for the season. WashDOT today closed both Chinook and Cayuse passes near Mount Rainier. Going down to the real-time traffic desk at 5:34. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, this report brought to you by the Tacoma Holiday Festival. Tacoma to Olympia. We keep improving with every report. We're at an hour, 5 minutes. Scattered backups now between South Tacoma and DuPont. Bellevue to Everett, Seattle to Everett, still 1 hour apiece. 405 solid from Kirkland into Alderwood. I-5 solid from Lake City Way through North Linwood. Linwood to Seattle, we're down to 50 minutes, but it is just barely moving from Northgate all the way down to I-90. The backup continues from I-90 past the West Seattle Bridge. We cleared our collision North 5 at the West Seattle Bridge. It's on your right shoulder, but it's right on that fog line. You're backed up to mid-Boeing Field. South Center to Seattle has about a 10-minute delay. Bellevue to Renton, we're looking at a half-hour drive. The Tacoma Holiday Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates, is going on now through the 26th at the Tacoma Dome. Buy tickets at holidaygiftshows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rain and breezy for at least a few more hours. Will actually be mainly quiet overnight, and then lots of rain expected for this weekend. Right now, looking at 53 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, because we went over on so many times the shortened version. Teeny, if you'd mind spinning it, but just put your foot up against the wheel so it only spins just a little bit, please.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's Chris, you got a big foot. It landed on Joe.
Oh, I like a 2-pack of hard-boiled Wilcox Family Farm eggs. They're available in a convenience store near you for about $4.
Thank you, Joe. There's your Wilcox Family Farm eggs recipe. All right, let's play the know-it-all quiz. Let's meet our contestant now. His name is John. Old John. And he lives in Portland. And the one interesting thing is that he once partied with the famous late 90s, early 2000 band Sublime. Big old man John, how are you?
No, I'm doing great.
Good.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Don't apologize yet. So, how was it partying with a band? What year was that you were enjoying yourself?
Well, this must have been about 15 years ago or so, right in that area. Maybe 15 or 16, 17 years ago, something like that.
For anybody that doesn't remember this band, you're certainly going to remember this song right here, coming in at number 1.
There you go.
Joe's singing along. Nice. And you and Aaron singing. All right, so old John, how did you end up with the band? Were you backstage, or did you bring a pretty girl to the concert? How did you end up partying with these guys?
Well, a little bit of both of that. A good friend of mine happened to be a good friend of a feller that was a producer, or a feller that put shows on. What do you call them fellers?
Promoter.
Promoter.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. There you go. He was a promoter, and he let my friends know that he's having the band Sublime play in Centralia, a little town of Centralia.
Wow.
And they let me know, and I said, well, that sounds interesting. I wasn't for sure I was going to go, but I happened to find out that a friend of mine, his wife's favorite band was Sublime, and there was going to be the concert on the day of her birthday. And so we kind of took her secretly, and she didn't really know we were going because it looked like it was just a hole in the wall until you opened the door and got in, and it was a nice big open place and everything. Well, the coolest part about it was that I was able to, because I knew the promoter feller, I was able to get her up on stage. I said, would you get her on stage and let her get happy birthday sung to her or something? Well, they did one better. They sat her rear end right down on the lap of the lead singer, and he just sung one of their songs right to her on her birthday, and that was her favorite band, and that just really made my day. I had a good time in lots of other ways at the party afterwards, I can tell you that.
Yeah, give us a few details on that, old John. So, because, Bradley Noel, he died in '96, lead singer of a heroin overdose. So I'm assuming these guys...
Yeah, I know. I missed him. I got the guy that replaced him on this show, but it still made my friend extremely happy. And we did party like it wasn't no big deal. Mainly whenever they sat her down up there on the guy's lap.
Yeah.
I just kind of I just kind of watched the dancing girls behind Sublime.
Yeah. Okay. And then the partying afterwards, was it?
And then afterwards, my friends Marty and Karina, if anybody out there knows Marty and Karina, and everybody knows Marty and Karina, no matter what, they threw on a heck of a damn party, and Karina made about 75 hamburgers. There was cocaine, there was dancing girls, and I smoked so much weed that I couldn't even eat a hamburger. But it was a lot of goddamn fun, and they even sat there and played a few little tunes after they ate dinner with us. But it was like 4 hours of massive fun after the concert, and so I gave this lady the first birthday present she ever had.
Oh my God!
But I really would like to hear what Joe's stories are about his partying.
He has, Nick has partied really hard with Kid Rock. Big old John, we'll have to talk about that one off the air. And Joe, because he was in country music, he has consumed many alcoholic adult beverages with...
Name them. I actually partied with Sublime one time, too.
Oh, Joe partied with Sublime. So it's apparently, old John...
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. Go ahead. Get your show there, Joe and John. Go ahead.
I would like to hear about it.
Yeah.
Probably 95, I'm guessing, and Bradley was still alive.
Yeah.
And I lived in a little town called Isla Vista. It's a party town, and they played somebody's backyard. The show was awful because the entire band had taken mushrooms, and they were just not really in sync, but it was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
Did they have any...
Yeah. Well, as long as mushrooms are not too frequently done, they can be fun.
Okay. Well, we've covered
that was the band, not me, by the way.
No.
Remember, you're just coming from old man John. I've been everywhere and done everything.
Yeah, I know. You got no regrets. I mean, and by the way, that's probably the greatest birthday that woman has ever had, right?
I know, and I felt wonderful doing that. It was amazing.
Well, you know what? We don't have any time for any of the questions, but hold on. Congratulations, old man John. You win the know-it-all quiz. A whole box of Bite Me cookies coming your way. Yeah. What's that? What'd you say?
I had a feeling we wouldn't have much time for questions. I really did. I let Joe know that there might only be one time for one or two questions after we get all done with this here. And I gotta tell you, I've had those cookies before, and they are fabulous. I am